What's going on, Blazer fans? Welcome into the Uprise post-game show. Tonight, I'm joined, as usual, by Eric Brandt, but I'm also joined by a special guest, Patreon donor Eric Kleiser. Now, we're going to be calling him Clays for today, just so you guys don't get confused with Eric Brandt and Eric Kleiser. We're going to be calling our Patreon donor Clays. But what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How's it going, Tori? Appreciate you guys inviting me over here.
Yeah, for sure. So if you want the same opportunity as Eric, Eric's a Patreon donor. There's a link in the description below, and there's more information on our Patreon page. I wish we were doing this on a little, had a little better vibe going into this. I wish we won this game and made that push for that 7th seed. This was a tough loss, especially since OKC is the team we're chasing for that 7th seed. But overall, this was a loss that was to be expected. Missing so many guys tonight, man. The timing of this trade wasn't that good. I would have liked to have seen what we could have done if we had Bazemore and Tolliver out there, but got to see some Horde, got to see some Little, got to see some Simons. Trent had a phenomenal game, 30-point game, career high, so there were some positives from this game. We can Eric, you decide, or Clays, you decide, man. You want to talk about the trade first? You want to talk about this game first? It's up to you. You're running this.
So, I say since it's the post-game show, let's talk about the post-game.
All right. Give me your breakdown. We're putting you on the spot, throwing him right into the fire here.
Why did we lose this game?
Yeah. Let's hear your breakdown.
I would go injuries, but that'd be too easy, right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
So just to let you guys know, I woke up at 3 a.m. to watch this game, so that was terrible. I live in Germany right now.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the thing I saw the most, it was 75-71 late third quarter. We had 4 wide open three-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
It was Trent's first 2 missed shots of the day. Day missed one. And then, of course, after that, Hazonia threw a ball away. And it went from being a lead to a 10-point deficit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
the game
there. Yeah. I think Carmelo missed a wide open 3 in there too, and yeah, that just kind of sucked because can't complain about those shots, right? Those are wide open threes, good shooters, and just didn't fall. I'm fine with those shots.
No, is it just me? Is it just me, or does it seem like every time we have a chance for a momentum building 3 this season, we miss it, and then the other team comes down and hits a 3 with someone like in their face, and it's like a brutal 6-point swing like every time.
Yeah,
I feel like that happens every game.
It's been bad this season. Like, I've always felt like that's kind of been a thing, but this season, I almost expect it. Like, we'll get a wide open 3, miss our wide open 3. It'll be a good shooter too. It'll be a CJ or a Carmelo or a Gary Trent Jr. We'll miss wide open 3, and then all of a sudden go down the other way, and somebody like a Tim Hardaway Jr. will hit a step back contested fadeaway 3. Trevin's giving me crap saying, did Torrey just say shots didn't fall? But we get wide open 3s 4 in a row. We're knocking on the door there. We've battled all game long and they don't fall. I feel like that kind of takes the winds out of the sail, if that makes sense. I probably said that wrong. But I feel like that just kind of, that's disheartening when you get great shots like that and they don't fall, and then the other team goes down to his tough shots. I feel like that kind of like was where Clays is right. I feel like that's kind of where the game started to go downhill.
I mean, that and the guards just didn't want to miss a shot all day for Oklahoma City. I mean, between Paul and Gilgeous-Alexander, and I mean, those guys were incredible. Whether they were guarded or open, they were just hitting everything.
Oh, I like about their back.
I think they shot 54%.
Yeah, I'll look up the stats here in a little bit. We can break that down, but I like their backcourt because both guys can defend well. Gilgeous-Alexander has some size. Chris Paul plays bigger than he is. They can defend well, make plays off the dribble, score for themselves, and play make. But the problem I had, man, is just like that backcourt, that OKC backcourt, is just not the backcourt where you drop the big on the pick and roll on. You don't give him that much room in the mid range. Gilgeous-Alexander has a nice floater. He has size. He loves getting space in the mid range. Same with Chris Paul. It was like there's multiple plays where you're just giving Chris Paul wide open 15-footers, and it reminded me of when we played the Clippers in the playoffs back when they had Chris Paul, man, and we were just giving him wide open mid range jumpers, and it was just like you can't give him that much space. Those guys will eat it up. Hello?
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah.
So
I was trying to let Clay's talk. Sorry.
Hey, this is the first time I've done this with 3 people, so don't be afraid to step on each other. I'm just gonna make my point. Try not to overtalk as much as I normally do, and then like let you guys say your piece.
I pretty much gave up on this game after the trade happened, and I knew we were going to be super shorthanded. Like, if the trade couldn't happen till Tuesday, it was like, why couldn't they make it official like tomorrow or something?
Oh, I know.
Like let the guys play so we have just a few more bodies. But it is kind of puzzling to me how we have success throwing a different defense out against Houston, and then we go right back to our same old defense the next 2 games and play horrible on defense. It's just kind of frustrating that.
Especially when you got like wings and forwards that are as athletic as Horde and Little R. Those guys move around well on defense. Even Trent, I've been impressed with Trent's defense, his lateral quickness. Like those guys, let those guys fly around, trap a pick and roll, hedge a pick and roll. You know what I mean? Like let those guys fly around a little bit more. I felt like when Whiteside was in the game, especially, we were just dropping that big guy back and not really pressuring the ball. And I feel like you got to pressure Chris Paul, Gilgeous-Alexander to slow them down.
And I said this the other day, too. Like, when Whiteside's not in the game, you don't have players that should be dropping back. You should just be switching all the picks and just take your chances with, like, Horde guarding Chris Paul and stuff like that. Like, it's not going to be that much worse than, like, Dame or Trent or someone guarding him, Like, just switch all picks.
Yep. So Clays, man, I forgot what I was going to say. Dang it. So it's what, 6 a.m. where you are right now?
Yep, almost.
I've always wondered that because I know we have people from across the world watching this channel. Like, how do you work your schedule around watching the Blazers when they're basically playing like 3 a.m?
So most of my career, the last 19 years I've been in the military. And this is my 3rd time in Europe. And also I was in Japan for another assignment and all that stuff. And early on, I would say it was difficult, the 3, 4 a.m. wake-ups, watch the game, and then pray it doesn't go to overtime because I have to head to work.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly there was a game where we took Houston into overtime with Brandon Roy and Yao Ming and these guys, and they were just trading buckets, and I'm like standing at my computer just praying. I'm like, don't make this, and then Yao puts it in or something, and they go to like a double overtime, and I'm like, I got to go to work. I can't hang around no more. I would say more so in the last few years, I've gotten old and lazy, and it's I'll watch the game when I get home from work and go like out. I won't hear anything or anything going on. I'll just come back, go sports silent for a few hours at work, come home in the afternoon, watch the game. Then that's when I usually kick on your guys' post-game analysis.
Yeah.
to hear that or catch up on your podcast or whatever, just to get my Blazers fix while I'm over here.
For sure. And we appreciate your support, man. But yeah, for me, I can't watch sports and get into sports the same way if it's not live. Like, I hate watching tape recordings, and then avoiding it in this day and age, I feel like it's tough, like just blacking out stuff. Like, I'd have to turn off phone notifications for like multiple apps and stuff. That'd be tough.
Yeah, I try not to do too much social media or too much that. I just stay away from it. And then, and then weekends, like today, it's a weekend, so I'm not working. I'm like, I can wake up, watch the game, see what's going on, So that I'm the same way. I hate watching recorded stuff, but I mean, sometimes it's just what you got to do when you're overseas. But soon enough, next year I'm retiring, so I'll be back in the U.S. and I can watch it at normal time.
Awesome, yeah. I couldn't imagine like starting off my day with watching a game and having like a tough loss like right at the start of the day. That seems rough.
Yeah, those are some rough times. It's better definitely coming back after work, and if I'm frustrated, I can just get a little bit more frustrated and go about my evening at least.
I feel that. So,
Tori, I feel like you would love watching games like at 3 a.m. though. Like that would be right in your wheelhouse.
I accidentally fixed my hours the past couple of weeks. I was waking up at like 7, 8 in the morning. I was getting tired on post-game shows, and I didn't really like it. Like waking up at 11 a.m. is perfect for me. Going to bed at 3 a.m. is like that's my preferred hours. Like if I don't have anything going on, that's when I prefer to wake up. But 3 in the morning, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to watch a game in the middle of the night. That'd be strange.
Yeah, definitely.
So
it's nice to have your coffee after the game, and get ready to have a day.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I want to get your thoughts. Since chat, that's the thing. Normal post-game shows, chat just goes crazy with trade ideas. In a normal post-game show, even after we beat the Rockets and we're trying to soak in the win, chat goes crazy with trade talk. So today, especially with that trade earlier today, I'm already seeing all the trade talk. They're talking about Swanigan. They're talking about this move. Go ahead.
Well, they're talking about the trade, but they're not talking about like the normal crazy trades,
Yeah, it's something that actually happened. So I wanted to get Clay's thoughts on the trade that went down today. How do you feel about it? What would you grade it? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I'm a little critical of what you guys say sometimes in regards to like, oh, let's take all these salaries and have expiring salaries, because that's great. And I would love to build a team that way. But obviously I'm not ownership or leadership of the organization. So, if you're 30, 40 million over this tax, you get the tax bill of another 20 million or whatever, all of a sudden, getting Otto Porter Jr. and another guy gets us $50 million tax bill next year, like I'm not sure, so take that out of the equation, I guess. And because that's all this deal was saves us what, 12 million or so.
Mm-hmm. Saves Jody 12 million, saves us like $5.5 million off our cap number.
Yeah. So that's all this move was. I mean, we had to do something with Bazemore, and we had to do something with Whiteside. So we're 50% there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in regards to Ariza, it'll be interesting because that 12.8 million or whatever we owe him, if we don't buy him out, do we want that on our books next year as an expiring contract to make future trades, or do we want to just dump it and take the $1.8 million penalty or whatever it is?
Yeah, that will be interesting. I've thought about that too, man. It's like, okay, if we keep him, if we don't think we'll end up in the tax, even if we keep him, do we keep him just because he'd be a veteran? And I know he's overpaid, but that contract could be helpful as a trade piece next year. That'll be something Olshey will have to figure out. That'll be an interesting decision, whether or not they release him. I mean, but maybe they trade him on the draft day. That's why I do like this trade, is because we have a contract that we could trade on draft day, and if not, it would basically be an expiring. So it'll just be weird to see Ariza in a Blazer uniform.
Yeah, definitely. I've not liked that guy for so long in regards to how he plays against Portland, and whether he's in a Lakers uniform or a Houston uniform, or he's always had he's done a lot of damage to us in the past 10 plus years.
A lot of damage to Rudy, especially, man. I know Blazer fans hated him for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Eric, what do you think? What do you think about Ariza in a Blazer uniform?
Well, I don't think it's quite as weird as Melo in a Blazer uniform.
That's true.
So I don't know how weird it's going to be. What you guys were talking about with whether he'll be on the team next year, I think that's going to be almost exclusively dependent on how well he meshes with this team.
Yeah.
Obviously, if he has like a Hood like effect on this team like last year, I pretty sure we'll pick up that option and have him on the team next year. Worst case scenario, he, like you mentioned, he's an expiring contract to trade. Best case scenario, he actually provides some defense from that wing position that we sorely need. But yeah, if it's just not working and he's not a good fit at all and he seems kind of old and washed up, or there's any signs of that, I could see them just cutting their losses if they can't make a trade by June 30th.
I will say this about him. What I like about him is he knows his role and he plays to his role. And I feel like that was a problem with Bazemore. Bazemore was always trying to do too much, shooting, he'd catch the ball in transition with 20 on the shot clock running full speed, and he'd try and shoot a pull-up three. And it's like, dude, you're shooting 33% from three. We have the entire shot clock. You can probably get an open three because teams don't really guard you out there. Why are you sprinting full speed into a catch and shoot three in transition with 20 on the shot clock? Like, Bazemore just was not a smart player, and I feel like that's actually been one of the most under-talked about problems with this team this year is just we don't have a lot of high IQ guys. Mario Hezonja, I'm sorry, he's just not a high IQ guy. He had multiple plays tonight. This kind of ties back into the game tonight. He had multiple plays where it was just like, what are you doing? What are you seeing? Why are you doing that? And Bazemore, I felt like, was the same way. So I think Ariza, he is a little bit more efficient, but I feel like what's helpful with him is he plays to his role. He's not like Bazemore where he's out of control and trying to do too much all the time.
I agree. I think it's overall. I think Kevin Pelton nailed it with the A- grade. He's going to provide the 3 and D. He's not going to do anything splashy. I mean, he's 34, 35 years old or whatever. So he's not going to be the future of the franchise or anything like that. This wasn't a splashy move, and most people are probably going to look at it like, oh, we gave up for lesser, older talent. But I think it's a great move because that contract's on our books through the draft if we decide to keep him or not keep him. And who knows, maneuvering draft picks and contracts for players is a lot tougher in the draft time because there's so many people who are not under contract.
Yeah.
Having that contract could help us make a move later down the road.
Very, very well said. And that's been my biggest thing is like, let's not worry too much about this year. Let's make sure we have options in the future where we can do different things and explore different options if they become available to us. Like, I don't want us to get boxed in where we don't have contracts to trade during the draft and then don't have guys we're willing to trade next season. So that's a big thing for me.
I think this is one of the examples of getting a contract for next year, but also just in case they go on a run this year, helping playoff, like in the playoffs.
Yeah, because I do think we're definitely better with them.
Yeah, and I do like what you said about him fitting a role versus like he's not going to try to take over a game and go all crazy. I like players like that. He can actually handle the ball a little bit if Dame gets trapped as well. I keep coming back to this. Seems like a trade that you would make though, like at the deadline when there's no other options, and you give up 2 picks. I wish we could have included Hezonja instead of Tolliver, simply because I'm scared of him picking up that option, even though it's for $1.9 million. Like,
that's probably why we didn't. Sacramento probably didn't want him for that.
Right, exactly. But like we're giving up 2 picks. Come on, man, just take Hezonja instead.
I don't think there's a way that they're not taking. Hezonja's not picking up his option after just watching him play every game. Like it's jumping into the 3 defenders, and how many times he's gotten caught up in a jump pass this year?
Oh, too many, man. He had one tonight where he drove in transition. There's 2 defenders right in front of him, and he just drove right into them and then jumped while he was trapped by them and threw it right into their hands.
And it was the exact play after those 4 missed threes by Trent and Carmelo and Lillard. And that was the game. I mean,
it's
the
almost,
momentum had swung.
Yeah, it's almost like It's almost like his thought process is, we have guys missing shots, so I need to go make a play. I'm going to try and drive downhill and make something happen. And then he gets caught. He's not, he's trying to do too much. I feel like that's a problem with a lot of guys this year, actually. Simons kind of has that, but Simons is super young. Hazonia, this is his 5th year, and he's playing at... He makes decisions that would be bad for a rookie. You know what I mean? But it's like, dude, it's your 5th year. It seems like he hasn't really learned anything since he got into the league. He's still he still makes a lot of bad decisions, and he was super frustrating for me to watch tonight. It's not even just the offense and the decision making and trying to do too much, but he has stretches where he just plays awful defense, where he looks like he doesn't care on defense, and that was frustrating for me tonight.
Yeah, 100% agree.
But the thing is with him, though, is he's not going to make more than the minimum anywhere else. His boy in Nurkic is here. Like, I think he likes it here. So, yeah, he's going to accept that player option. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm fine with him being the 15th or 14th guy on the team.
Yeah, as long as he's not in the rotation.
Mm-hmm. Same with Caleb Swanigan. If Caleb Swanigan's the 15th guy on the team, I'm fine with that. But, because that's the thing.
Yeah, he can be our bench cheerleader and have good friends with Nurkic and keep him happy and
yeah. Question for both of you: who would you rather have as your backup center, Caleb Swanigan or Anthony Tolliver?
Eric, I would say in the modern NBA, Anthony Tolliver. I mean, they're both unathletic. They're both can barely jump over a phone book. I know Eric's probably the only one who gets that reference since everybody here is like 12 years old. But they both can't jump. They can't do much. But at least Tolliver can stretch the floor as a career like 36% 3-point shooter or whatever he is.
For sure.
And have you seen Swanigan lately, man? That guy is not an NBA player anymore.
Yeah, I figured some people might want him just because he'd help our rebounding more than Tolliver would. But, God, dude, yeah, he's let his body go, and some people are saying, oh, maybe now that he's back, we can get him to get his body right for once. It's like people overestimate what our organization can do for garbage players. Let me just say that. Like, it was that way with Hazonia when Hazonia came here. Oh, he's finally out of New York and Orlando, so once he comes here, he's going to be a different player. There's a reason he was drafted 5th. Well, look, he might be having his worst season of his career. Now people are like, oh, once we get Caleb Swanigan again, maybe we can fix his body. And I get, like, the optimism, but it's just, like, hopeless optimism to me that's not going to pan out.
I feel like in Stott's system, if you're a crappy shooter, you might have a slight uptick, but you're still a crappy shooter, right?
Yeah.
If you're a lights-out shooter, you're going to thrive. Like Curry was perfect last year. Mm-hmm. Hood has a good stroke, so he was a perfect match in Stott's system, especially on those corner threes. And that's why I'm back fully on board the Otto Porter train, because he's a career 40% three-point shooter. He's not going to go down or become a bad shooter in this offense. So I'm sick of trying to make guys who can handle the ball maybe but aren't the greatest shooters try to fit in Stott's offense, like Turner and Hazonia. Like, those guys do not work in this system. So just go for shooters. I mentioned Joe Harris in the stream earlier today, but like guys like that, like go for those type of players versus trying to make Hazonia work,
Yeah. I mean, Otto Porter Jr. is trade target number 1. He's still trade target number 1. Clays, what do you think about Otto Porter Jr. for Whiteside swap? Are you on board with that?
Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat. Obviously, again, I'm without the financial ramifications of whatever the ownership is doing with the club. Mm-hmm. Otto Porter Jr. is a stretch 3-4 who can defend at a high level. He can shoot at a high level. And, we talk about getting all these shooters like Bertans or Joe Harris or, all these other guys that are premier shooters, but most of those guys can't defend at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And having an Otto Porter Jr. or Covington or the guys that you guys tend to talk about on a consistent basis, they're exactly what a Stotts team would need. Because thinking about it, and this might just be me, I I'm not a Stotts supporter, so don't go there. But the kind of stuff that I started thinking about, like who's he had as wing defenders throughout his tenure in Portland at the guards and the forward positions, and other than maybe Wes Matthews, I don't know if he's had an above-average defender.
Yeah. Batum was a pretty decent defender.
Yeah, I thought Batum was a little inconsistent with his motor, but when he was engaged, he was above average. I mean, I think people overrated Aminu's and Harkless's defense a little bit, and honestly underrated their offense a little bit. Like, people thought those guys were like great defenders, but they could only defend. You know, you had that Pelican sweep where people were blaming Aminu for that sweep, like, oh, well, we don't have, Aminu can't hit shots, so that's why we couldn't make them pay for trapping Dame. But people forget Aminu shot 43% in that series and made over three threes per game. So that series wasn't on Aminu. It was like people would, oh, he turns over the ball so much. People were saying that last season he was getting like 0.7 turnovers a game. You know what I mean? He just looked out of control. But like he had improved on his turnovers and ball handling a little bit last year, I thought. But people didn't really realize that. So I always felt like people overrated their defense a little bit, but underrated their offense. I do want to see how this team would look with 3-and-D players, though. Because Stotts has never really had a 3-and-D player since like Batum and Matthews.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's like the archetype that I want to go after. I mean, people thought Kent Bazemore was going to fit that, but 33%, you're not a 3-and-D guy if you're shooting 33%. You're just a D guy, and I thought Bazemore's defense kind of waned here and there. So maybe Ariza can be that guy for the rest of this year. We've talked about like Covington and Porter together would be interesting to see, having 2 3-and-D guys. Honestly, Ariza and Porter would be kind of the same thing. Obviously not as good, but could be interesting.
I love Ariza's corner 3. I mean, over the last, how long has he been in the league now? Like 14 years or
something like that.
16, crazy. I think.
16.
Because he came out of high school, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's been around a while, but his corner 3 is money, and I think that's going to be perfect on a Dame or CJ or Melo ISO or drive to the hole and kick, and something different than having Bazemore in the corner shooting 2 for 10 or, or just in general.
Yeah. Eric, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I would love to see them pair someone with Ariza. Just have 2 of those guys. We're going to need 2 of those guys if we want to advance far in the playoffs. So, yeah, I said this earlier, but I feel like they have to trade Whiteside now because they made this move for financial gain, which is fine. But if you don't make a move with Whiteside, I think it's going to make it a lot tougher to build a contending team around Dame for the next couple of years. So I feel like you have to get something that's going to help long-term for him.
Well, especially being in Portland with the small market, syndrome that we have, and guys, not tending to come here unless we pay them well over their worth, like a Evan Turner or Alan Crabb on the restricted, or, things like that. So the only way we can get guys is via trade. And if Dame and CJ and Nurk have 80% of our salary cap, how do we make a trade?
Yeah. One thing I'm hoping with this is that they're not completely trying to get under the tax, because they got $7 million over the tax. I'm hoping they just wanted to save some money, $12 million, and like, okay, now Jody's fine. Now Olshey can do what he wants to do to help this team now and in the future. I'm hoping it's not something where, okay, now they got to $7 million. Now they're going to try and trade Whiteside and save $7 million, so they're completely under the tax, because you're probably not going to get much. You're probably not going to get something good back. You're probably not going to be in a good position going into next season with our contracts. So I'm hoping that this was just like the precursor to them basically waiting on Hassan. One reason being, waiting for Nurkic to come back so they can trade Hassan, and then the second reason being waiting to see how the trade market develops and what type of player they can use Hassan with to go out there and get. Now, Eric Brandt had a prediction, or is it fair to call that a prediction, Eric?
I don't know. I wouldn't call it a prediction. I was just saying that it kind of fit.
So he had a feeling that Portland is going to do something like Whiteside and a first-round pick for Julius Randle, and then like maybe, have them trade like Taj Gibson to a third team like Dallas because they have a trade exception that they can take on Gibson with, and then that would save us $9 million, get us under the tax, and we get Julius Randle, which I would hate that trade because I think Julius Randle's bad, but...
Real quick, I do not want to do that trade.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I have a feeling that that's going to be the type of move they're going to look to do to completely get under the tax.
And then the talk will be, Julius Randle, we went out and got somebody, a big name. And I feel like a lot of Blazer fans would actually be happy with that. They talk themselves into thinking Julius Randle's this great player, but he's a horrible, horrible, horrible defender. A horrible defender. His contract works out well because he has a 3-year contract, and his last year is a team option. So next year he could be an expiring contract if a team didn't want to bring him back. They just decline his team option. Or he could be somebody that a team could bring in and have for 2 years if they wanted. So there'd be, you could view him as an expiring contract or a guy on a 2-year contract if a team really wanted him for the next couple years. So contractually that would be a good guy to go get, but we'd have to trade a first for him most likely, and I'm not down to trade a first for a guy unless it's a 3 and D guy at the very least, like a Covington maybe, not a Julius Randle, a guy who can't defend. He's not going to help our defense. We're still going to be a borderline bottom 10 defense, so we gotta fix that area of the floor.
Got to find a dumb team that wants him, like if Minnesota wanted him and gave up a first for him. And then we got Jang in that deal, so it's basically Whiteside for Jang, and we get under the tax and then have Jang for next year. I know that's not a 3 and D guy, but I like that better than bringing Randall on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch play out.
I'm just surprised it happened. The timing of it just seems really weird.
Yeah, I wonder what went into that, man, because I was not expecting to wake up to trade news today. I was not expecting to wake up and have to do a 2.5-hour stream. I say have to do, like I didn't love to do a trade stream and have that pop off. But you know what I mean? I did expect to wake up and be doing a trade stream. Like,
dang Saturdays, man. Gosh.
Yeah, so... Anyway, both of you guys can respond to anything you see in chat. I know we haven't tuned in with chat. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing out there?
They all love the Randall trade. They all want him.
I told you, man.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
I am noticing in chat they're starting to talk about the Gabriel signing or the part of the trade, and just so I've watched a lot of college basketball. I've watched Gabriel play in Kentucky. Yeah. He has a lot of raw talent. But he played so soft, and he would just disappear in games. And originally they thought he would come to the NBA, and he stayed another year, I think. And he just kind of just faded away. He never showed any kind of aggression really in the games that I watched. So that was kind of everybody thinks he's going to be the next,
Well, what I think is funny is I guarantee most people hadn't even heard of him before today, other than college basketball fans. But now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got a good prospect now just by watching some G League highlights, which it's fine. But he was a throw-in to make, because otherwise the finances of the trade wouldn't have worked. If he wasn't included, Sacramento wouldn't have been able to take on that much money. So he was basically Sacramento saying, okay, this is the one guy who fits the trade that we'll give you. And we're like, okay, so that's not really encouraging for him, but I do like his raw athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a raw prospect, and I think there's never somebody bad to have either in the G League or the bench in that regards, and I mean, I would still play him over Hazonia. So
yeah, I mean, I could see him coming in and outplaying Hazonia, Little, those guys, and then being a guy who's getting 15, 20 minutes a game until Zach Collins comes back. obviously that's not saying much. Outplaying those guys, but I like his size, man. 9'1", standing reach. Doesn't look too skinny. Looks like he could maybe hold his own. I mean, like he might. Okay, there we go. We're reconnected. I think we're good. Okay, we're good. Sorry, internet decided to throw us a I don't know what saying I'm saying. I try to bring up these sayings sometimes and then I forget them while I say them. Internet basically quit on us for a little bit, but hopefully it'll relax for a little bit.
You were talking about the incredibly low bar of having to outperform Mario Hezonja.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm no audio. Yeah, internet isn't the most consistent. It's been good lately, guys. You guys know it's been good lately. Didn't have any hiccups during that 2.5 hour stream. Didn't have any hiccups last night. But you guys know it'll randomly have a hiccup here and there. So we're back. But yeah, Gabriel, I'm just intrigued to see this guy play. It's going to be fun to see him in Summer League. He's one of those guys that makes Summer League more fun. I'm down for that because that's just additional Summer League content. Since around that time of year, I'm just scraping for content anyway. So
well, I think he's a restricted free agent, so I don't know if he'll for sure be on the team.
That's true. I hope we sign him to just a 2-year cheap contract. I don't know. It'd probably have to be a minimum. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see his free agency. Actually, I forgot he's a restricted free agent. I hope he plays in Summer League. He could be the Summer League version of Siakam.
Yeah.
I see lag. Guys, I'm not lagging anymore. I
think it's just fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good now. It's funny because I can usually tell when I'm lagging. Because I have like a little green light if I'm on my stream software that turns red, so I can usually tell when I'm lagging. But I know I'm not lagging now. It's always funny too when people say lag when it's literally their own internet connection, and I'm just like, I'm not lagging. I'm still good.
Well, I mean, if they're a few minutes behind watching,
true,
that would be
true. What's up, Chiefin? So for those of you just tuning in, I'm here with Eric Brandt. I'm also here with Eric Glazer. We're calling him Clays, so you guys don't get confused. He's a Patreon donator. And as I've said in the past, if you donate on Patreon, you have a chance of appearing on the channel. We'll give you that opportunity. So it's Clay's stepping up, being our first Patreon donor on the stream. We're glad to have him. He's very, very well spoken, man. I'm impressed. Hopped on the stream.
Yeah, you're doing great, man.
I got that Vancouver education,
Vancouver. Hey,
Vancouver greater than Beaverton.
Were you watching the streams when Eric was hating on Vancouver?
Yes, I was. I thought it was hilarious. But, I mean, I don't disagree with what Eric said either. So.
Whoa, bro, what the hell?
Oh, yeah. I got someone from Vancouver on my side.
Well, he's been in Germany. The waterfront's going to be popping, okay? Like, fine. After the waterfront, Eric, you can't even seriously say that anymore because you guys don't even have a waterfront in Beaverton. So, I mean, what are you going to say to that?
I mean, we don't have water either.
Exactly. You don't have a waterfront or water, so...
The funniest part about that is I have no ties to Beaverton. It's actually more Hillsborough. So
Same thing. Same thing to me. It's so far away, it's the same thing.
That's like Camas, Washougal, Vancouver's the same thing, right?
Yeah. In general. But, I mean, Eric's past Hillsborough, though. What do you even call that place again, Eric? North Plains?
I'm in North Plains, but it's like to get to Hillsborough, you have to go like south of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the same distance away. It's just not.
Hamza wants to meet up with you, bro.
Hamza.
Two Erics is a good day. You know what I think, man? You know what I've always been annoyed with? There needs to be obviously logistically, I'm not thinking about this logistically at all, but I just wish there was an interstate on the opposite of I-5, just like mirroring I-205 that went from Vancouver to Hillsborough. I could literally get to Hillsborough in 15, 20 minutes instead of having to go through downtown all the way around. It would take 20 minutes instead of 45 minutes. I just wish there was.
I think, Tori, you're just trying to find a way to avoid the 205 bridge, you know?
The 405.
It's a little too the 405
Yeah,
it's a little too high for
it
you.
is, bro. It is, man. I hate that 405 bridge, guys. Is anybody in chat, like, I shouldn't say, okay, screw it, I'll say it. Scared of heights, even though that makes me sound hella weak. I'm scared of heights, guys. I hate heights. It's stupid, and it sucks. But is anybody else
So
scared
you would
of heights?
fit in with Swanigan and Tolliver then, right?
Are they scared of heights?
No, they just can't jump.
Oh. I might be able to jump higher than... I might have a better vertical than those guys. I dunked a couple nights ago. Rec League, 2 hours into my Rec League game. I threw one down, but I'm 6'4". I don't got the height. I better jump higher than Eric Swanigan, Caleb Swanigan. Oh. No, I just wish I could drive out to Eric where it wouldn't take an hour. Or Eric could drive to me. It would be dope to film stuff together every now and then. Because our first podcast, that's what we started off with, and the drive was rough. Lots of gas money.
You would definitely struggle in my job then, Tori. So I'm a flight engineer in the Air Force.
Yeah, so you fly a lot?
Literally fly usually a couple times a week. Dude. And then
yeah.
Right now I'm flying for NATO, so it's a lot of fun having like 17 different countries in one aircraft.
Oh, that's awesome. See, like, I watch pilot videos on YouTube. I'll go down a rabbit hole and watch like a day in the life of an airline pilot, and it seems like it'd be a fun job, like cool, if I didn't hate heights. You know what I mean? Like, but so I was never scared to fly. I flew a lot growing up, and I was completely fine. And then the last like 6-7 years, all of a sudden I'm just like gets super bad anxiety on flights, and it's just not fun. So high bridges. Honestly, I'd be fine on the 405 bridge if I wasn't thinking earthquake while I drove across it. You know? Because that's just what I think. Around here, when I drive across that bridge, I'm just like, what if there's an earthquake right now? That would suck.
That bridge is so going down.
I know, dude. That's gonna be terrible, man. They need to retrofit that, like, oh man, because that's what I think about when I'm on it.
They can't even figure out the I-5 bridge between.
Oh my god. Well, that's part Washington's fault.
Vancouver and Portland, but yeah.
Yeah, that's part Washington's fault. Because if I'm on that bridge is going to go down too. But like, you'd have a chance. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be so high. You wouldn't have a chance. You know, you'd have to go swimming with a bunch of cars. You know, but who knows? I don't know. How do we get on this topic? This is that once a Well, that's once a post-game stream. I'm like, how do we get talking about this? But I love that.
While we have Clay's on, we have to ask him what he had for dinner last night.
Dinner? Yeah.
So I was actually shopping across the street at a little supermarket or whatever, and I ran into one of my buddies. And he's like, hey, come over for dinner. I'm like, sweet. So I had some Italian pasta because it was one of my Italian friends. So...
Italian pasta sounds good. I had some crappy Panda Express tonight. The orange chicken wasn't fresh. Literally the last 2 times I asked if it was fresh, and they're like, yeah, it just came out. Okay, awesome. Ordered 3 entrees of it because I eat a lot, and it was perfect. Today I didn't ask. When I ordered 3 entrees of it, I would have ordered something else. I got it. It was horrible, man. I just so frustrated.
What's up, Caleb?
Caleb? What do you mean? You're calling me Caleb because I like to eat 3 entrees of orange chicken? Come on, man.
I'm just messing.
Come on, man. I'm skinnier than you, bro. You can't talk.
Yeah, but you're 23 though, Tori. True. So
and I haven't been able to exercise in 5 months.
You're gonna be a different person by Rip City 3-on-3, bro. You're gonna be dunking on people. You're gonna be skinny as hell. We're gonna transform you. Like, you know, the Blazers can't transform Caleb Swanigan, but I'm going to transform you.
All right.
I got you. But yeah, we'll have some pickup games for any of you guys out there that are interested in around the Portland area. We'll have some pickup games in the spring, and I'll send out something in the community tab if you guys, you know, it'll be like a Portland park or something, so anyone can show up. Patriotic Truth News. Go ahead. I was reading something.
I was going to ask Clay's if he ever plays ball.
Yeah, no, I play a lot of ball. I play a couple times a week usually. Right. Obviously, I'm getting older, and I'm not in the best shape either. So, I used to eat Panda Express and all that other stuff every meal, and being a single guy, it's easy. No, I told Tori in a few live chats ago, like I could be his shooter that he needs on his rec league when I retire.
Nice.
But I'm short, and I can't. I'm not a point guard, so I'm like stuck in that mold where like I can't do much.
Like the Seth Curry short shooter mode, even though you're not a point guard type of mode.
Yeah, like I don't handle the ball great. I'm only 5'8", and I played JV at Evergreen, but I mean our varsity at the time, back. So I graduated in 2001, so I'm 37. But our varsity team had 3 or 4 D1 players, including the guy who, like, second in University of Oregon's 3-point percentage history and things like that. So there was no way I was ever moving up to that realm.
Yeah. You got to be like Dame Dollar and just lie about all your accolades.
Yeah, you were dunking on people at 5'8". You got a 45-inch vertical. Nate Robinson's jealous of your hops, that type of thing. But Vancouver basketball used to be a lot better than it is now, man. Today it's sad, dude. It's so sad. It used to be a lot better. Like 4 D1 players on one team in Vancouver. You'd be lucky if you'd get 3 or 4 D1 players from Vancouver this decade. Battleground has a kid that's going to end up going to Gonzaga, though. He's actually kind of nice. I need to go watch him play. But yeah, so anyway, I
did ask in the trade video earlier. So I'll be in town for like a 4 or 5 day window in the first week of April. So if you can try to get a game going one of those days, I'd love to join.
We'll try. Yeah. Is that a weekend or is that a week?
Well, I'm flying in to Seattle. I'm staying up there a couple days, but then driving down. I think I get there on the Tuesday, the 31st, and leave on the 4th, which is a Saturday night.
Yeah.
So I could maybe do a Saturday morning or something, but other than that, probably not, unless it was a weekday.
Could maybe do a Saturday morning. I'm not a morning fan, but I would wake up just to do that.
Or if the Blazers don't play that Friday night, we could.
Yeah, they don't. They're playing Thursday because I'm thinking I might bring my nephews to the game on that Thursday, and they're playing Utah on that Thursday. Okay. So I think they're off on Friday.
You're saying Friday night for what, Eric?
Oh, we could ball Friday night, right?
At a park
or can you not ball? Well, I don't know about a park, but I don't know. We'll just find someplace to play.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. You guys be tuned for that. All you guys talking trash to me in the chat, saying Trevin would posterize me and would beat me 1-on-1 and stuff. You guys are gonna have to back it up someday, and if you don't show up, I'm gonna be giving some of you guys crap because I see you guys with these comments here in the chat. Don't think I don't see them. I see them. So you guys are gonna have to back it up at some point. Anyway, let's segue back to the game. I'm going to read off the box score. I'm kind of curious to read some of the stats here. I'll just go through this as efficiently as possible.
I mean, all you guys say is Gary Trent Jr., right?
Gary Trent Jr. 30, yeah. It was funny because Lamar Hurd said, "Oh, he just hit 2 more threes and he'll have 30," and he hit 2 more threes, got 30. So. No, dude, I'm impressed with him. His defense, too, is actually more impressive to me than him having a shooting night like this. We know he can get hot and knock down shots, but his defense has been impressive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was the top-rated shooter of that draft, if I remember right, coming out of Duke. Mm-hmm. And I was so stoked to get him. I know Eric Brandt's not a big fan of that, trading all those second-round picks for him. But I was really high on him. I thought he was a first-round talent that we got for a couple second-round picks. Mm-hmm. And the last 2 years, he has been so terrible.
Yeah.
And the last 2 weeks, I'm starting to slowly turn around. I mean, he's one of the few guys on defense rotating. He's one of the few guys that's jumping in for rebounds, hustling. making deflections. So
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm kind of high on him right now. Hopefully he's back to, what I thought he could be.
Well, my viewpoint on him has turned around, because before it was like, I don't think he'll ever be a good defender. He just doesn't seem like he has the motor or the lateral quickness to be a good defender, and he's actually made me change my mind on that the past couple of weeks. Like, what I've seen from him in the past couple of weeks, I know it's a small sample size, but I think he can be a good defender. I think he's been a good defender the past couple of weeks. So that combined with 3-point shooting, that's a good player. I still kind of question this, but his consistency as a shooter is going to be huge, because we know he can get hot, but like, he needs to be a little bit more consistent as a shooter. If he can just be a consistent 3-point shooter, and still get hot like he did tonight, and then be a good defender, he could maybe be. I don't want to compare him to Wes Matthews, but it seems like he kind of has the same type of body. His shot actually, I think, kind of reminds me of Wes's a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping on that one, but he seems like he could be a player in kind of the Wes Matthews mold, and that's what I'm hoping for him.
Hey, Clays, are you the Husker fan? Lance picked.
No, I was just responding to that.
Oh, okay.
I put Husk, but yeah, I'll be correct. But yeah, no, definitely not. I did live in Nebraska from 2014 to 2018, but no.
Hamza's talking crap to me in the chat, man. He's saying he's gonna cross me over and.
Yeah, he's going to have to back that up. We need to start writing down names, and then if they don't show up, we got to call them out. We got to start, like, logging all this crap talk that we're dealing with. AM Productions I thought he was responding to what we said. I guess it was something in chat. I thought he was, like, way behind. It's funny, every now and then I'll notice somebody's, like, 10 minutes behind, and they're responding in chat like it's live or whatever, like they're not 10 minutes behind, and it's funny. Anyway, here we go. Go ahead.
Someone said Olshey's going to throw in Trent and Little into that Randall trade.
Oh my god, dude, that'd be horrible, man. That'd be horrible. I would rant. We'd be ranting, Eric. We'd be ranting. Hopefully we're not ranting, but if we are ranting, that's the silver lining for some people, I guess.
I guess at least we made a trade, so I won't have the no trade rant. But
exactly. Even though you weren't a fan of this trade, I saw you on Twitter, man.
Our RIP Blazers said that Dame was saying he wasn't feeling the trade. He never likes trades, but
where did he say that?
He said in the post-game interview, but he's the only one saying it. I'm not sure if he's just interpreting that or.
Yeah, would have to watch it.
See, Dame always loves his teammates and doesn't want them to get traded. So anytime this happens, he's always sad.
It's the same when the free agents were going, Ed Davis or Connaughton and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was crying when we traded Plumlee, but then we got Nurk, and he was a week later. He was like, "Wow, this is awesome."
Yeah, exactly. So, I bet it's tough being a teammate of a guy you go to battle and then they're all of a sudden just shipped away. But if I was Dame, I'd be excited because, okay, we have a guy who can hit threes a little better, so he might be a little more respected. So, I don't know, because for me, man, when I play in my rec league, I just want shooters around me because I don't want to get doubled. And then, okay, well, I'm going to make the right play and kick it out to a guy. I don't want to kick it out to a guy who consistently goes 2 for 10 from 3. It's just kind of it's tough on you when you're a scorer to not have that space, and then somebody like Dame makes the right play, but there's so many games where Bazemore just isn't hitting anything.
Okay, I got the quote.
Yeah, let's see it.
I don't hear what they're hearing at all. Says it's sad to see those guys go, but you've got new guys coming in, and you don't want to lose sight of the fact that it's a business and make guys who are coming in not feel welcome. I think he can really help us. I'm assuming he's talking about Ariza. Mm-hmm. Things haven't been working out. We haven't been winning a lot of games. His experience, his skill set, 3-and-D, he can guard pretty much 4 positions, and his size, it gives us something we could really use. I don't hear that he's unhappy with it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much as bland as you can make it. I don't know.
I'd be ecstatic. I I'd be ecstatic if they could swap Swanigan for another Labissiere. I was just thinking about it. I'd be ecstatic if Olshey could do that again. But yeah, I mean, Dame is very well spoken. That's as well as you can respond to that as a leader. You know, there's a reason why he was voted the best leader by GMs in the league. His response is like that. So I mean, Ariza will help us. I do think we did get a little bit better, and I think Dame kind of realizes that as well. Bazemore was definitely a good guy to have in the locker room, and it seems like he was universally well liked. So if you're a teammate with a guy like that, it's always tough to see them go. But you know, I don't think Dame is not feeling the trade or upset with the front office or anything like that. I just think, you know, it's tough to see a guy like Bazemore go, but he realizes what Ariza can bring that team.
Well, too, both those guys have only been with the team for a few months. Like, it's not like it's been years with those guys.
Exactly. So anyway, let me read off the box score for everybody tonight. We had Dame dropping 34 points, 6 assists. He was 10 for 23, 5 for 12 from the three-point line. Another Dame-esque type of game right there. Trent shot 12 for 18, 5 for 9 from the three-point line, had 5 rebounds with his 30 points. Trent played 36 minutes on his birthday, a day after he was sick or whatever. He had that thing after the game last night. I don't even know what you'd call that, but he's been under the weather. So that was an impressive performance by him. Other than that, Simons had 12, 4 for 11, 1 for 3 from 3. Simons kind of struggled. Let's just talk about that one play where he got blocked, though, where he should have went 1-2 and literally had the dunk of the year on Noel. You know what play I'm talking about?
Yep. It's like you always talk about. He goes to, like, the little flip shot and, like, shies away from the contact. I went on to just attack the rim with, like, aggression and just, like, don't care if you're going to get blocked, but it's better to get blocked, like, trying to throw down on someone than trying to, like, go around them and flip it up, you know? Because you're never going to get a foul called that way. If you throw it down on someone and they block it, sometimes you get a foul even if it's not a foul. Yeah. So, like, I wish he would just have that mindset, like, I'm going to get up and try to throw it down no matter what happens.
Yep. I think he'll get there, though.
Yeah.
You had Horde. Horde impressed me tonight. He just seems to know where to... Horde seems like a smart player. We have these forwards that don't have the highest basketball IQ, you know, Hazonia especially. Horde just seems like he's a smart player. He was getting some offensive boards. He had 3 offensive rebounds tonight, made some hustle plays. I think he could be a good defender. People forget that when he was going into college, he was a projected late first-round pick, and then he didn't have that good of a season at Wake Forest, but it's freaking Wake Forest, so that's not too surprising. So he fell off draft boards. Like, he was actually a well-rated prospect before his 1 year of college, and you can kind of see why. I like Horde, man. I hope that they keep him for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I loved watching Horde out there. I mean, I will gladly have him on the roster for the next couple years to see if he turns out to be a glue guy, a good role player for this team. Because, I mean, his only downside is he can't shoot.
Yeah. Honestly,
so how much does he fit with the Portland team?
His stroke doesn't look too bad, though. I mean, you look at, like, Little's stroke doesn't look good. He has a hitch in there. But Horde, his stroke looks smooth. Like, it doesn't look like he has a bad stroke. It looks like he should be hitting, should be able to hit some shots. So I'm hoping that he can be a solid shooter. Because if he can knock down threes at, like, 35, 36%, he'll be an NBA player. He'll be a role player, for sure.
100% agree. No.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because he's kind of like the opposite type of two-way player is Moses Brown. Moses Brown is such a project guy, long-term, maybe, he's 2 years away from being 2 years away from being a year away type of guy. But meanwhile, Horde, like, he can come in and actually look like he belongs on an NBA floor. Meanwhile, Moses Brown, you got throwing inbound passes to the other team and just making, he just doesn't look like he belongs on the floor just yet. Hazonia, the playmaking point forward Mario Hazonia had 3 turnovers and no assists in 29 minutes with 4 points. Something that also frustrates me about Hazonia, dude doesn't cut ever. I mean, maybe once in a while, but dude just doesn't cut. He'd be so good if he cut. He just sits out there on the 3-point line. He's too content to just sit out there.
He did in the preseason, and Zach found him several times for lands and dunks and stuff, and then nope, coached that out of him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think, God, he could be so good as a cutter, and he just there was one play especially. It was Dame. I think end of the third quarter was isolating, and Mario Hezonja's defender left him to completely double Dame, and the whole middle of the floor was open. And instead of cutting to the open spot in the middle of the floor and then making a play for himself or somebody else, Mario Hezonja was like 6-7 feet behind the 3-point line and just stood there and just watched Dame get doubled. And it's like, what do you do something, cut, dude. Like, you could have a dunk. You could dunk on somebody. You're athletic as hell, and nobody's paying any attention to you. Just go.
Yep. Not going to happen in this offense.
Yeah. For the Thunder, you had Gilgeous-Alexander, 22, 10, and 5. Chris Paul, 30, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. So they combined for 52 points, 12 assists, and 14 rebounds from their backcourt. Both shot over 50%. Chris Paul was 11 for 15, 3 for 5 from 3, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He killed us. That was only in 28 minutes for Chris Paul, too, to drop those 30 points. And he loves our pick-and-roll schemes. You know, he loves that draw-big scheme. He's one of the players that I feel like you can't play that scheme against. He just devours it. He knows how to play against it. He gets super comfortable against it. He has nights like 11 for 15 from the field all the time against it. It seems like Chris Paul always does well against us, and that's a reason why. There's certain like Blazer killers, and most of them just they like playing against that type of pick and roll defense we play. Luka Doncic is always going to be a Blazer killer, I feel like, because of that reason. Other than
we always the last 8 years we've run the same coverage against him, so why wouldn't he be comfortable with it? Like we do nothing to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah. Schroeder and Noel had 15 apiece. Nobody else really stood out. Baisley was like our favorite draft target this past summer. He has a ton of talent. He just looks like he doesn't know what to do. Like he doesn't know how to play at all.
Yeah, he's super raw, and I that was something that I always said was there's no way he was. It's kind of like Little. He's not going to help this year. And they're actually both playing this year, which is funny. But like those guys were projects, not guys who were supposed to come in and be finished products this year.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of want him to do well because I don't want to hear people say, "Oh, you were so high on this guy. He's garbage." You know, I get that with every draft project I'm high on, but it just looks like he just needs more time in the league.
Well, I mean, where we were picking though, like it's not like he was taken top 10 or something and he wasted a lottery pick on him. Like you have to take chances on those guys late in the first round and hope they develop. I think that's way better than taking a safe guy that doesn't have a high ceiling, you know?
Yep. We got Clay still here. Clay, you still here, man?
Yep, I'm still here, just listening and letting you guys talk.
I heard something in the background for somebody. I thought you might have gone up. But
no, I live by myself. It's not me. It's probably Eric's family.
Yeah, Eric's always got something. That's the thing. If it was just me and Eric, like I know it was him, and I know he'd still be here. It's always funny to hear the kids in the background, and just because what was it last night, man? Your kid was playing video games.
Flynn was playing video games, and he kept asking me to help him, but like I'm just like, dude, I can't.
Because that's the problem. For those of you who don't know, Eric has to record basically in his dining room. He doesn't really have a room, like a dedicated room to do it. He has a wife, so I mean the bedroom,
right.
That's the only other place, but he has a wife, so I mean there'd still be noise there anyway. But me, I don't got a wife, so so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah,
we have 3 kids and we have 3 bedrooms, so like the 2 little ones share rooms. There's like nowhere to go.
Yeah,
I might have to make something in my garage.
Wouldn't it be cold out there? You got heat out there?
No heat, but I'm saying I might have to like set something up with little heaters.
Yeah. People are used to it by now. I don't think anybody really cares cares that much. And I mute you when I'm talking sometimes if there's background noise, and it's just it's not a problem, right, chat? Or is it a problem for you, chat?
Well, since I am chat,
you are.
Usually, I don't have a problem with it. Like, I mean, everybody has a life. You can't expect this to be like a cinema production or.
Hey, it will if
It's getting there though.
If I'm rich someday, man, we'll have a downtown decked out Portland office studio type thing. I'll let like other podcasts record their podcast there, video cast, whatever. That would be dope, man. That's a pipe dream for 5 years from now.
I mean, honestly, though,
we got transition slides now, so that's nice.
Hey, I know, dude. Those are sick. I love putting those on. That type of stuff will only get better.
I feel like my family gives me more space than I ever would have imagined them giving me on these things. So, like, I feel like it could be way worse.
Dude, I know. I don't know. Some families would completely mess with you, walk up to the mic and say stuff, and
my high school daughter does crap like that. But
yeah, well, I mean, we recorded our first podcast. I was there, and she was looking at you all weird.
Yeah.
And dude, I love thinking back to that. Just the start, man. Just the start.
That was fun.
Eric's come a long way, guys. My coaching is elite. My YouTube coaching. But anyway, what's going on, chat? We'll tune in with chat for a little bit. You guys got any questions for us, for Clay's, for any comments? Do you guys want to trash talk me some more and get shut down? Like, what do you guys want? Fun fact, my dad has a coworker named Corey Jones. That's interesting. Rhymes, yeah, it does rhyme.
Fun fact related to that, my mom always calls you Corey and not Tori.
Dude, I say that I get that all the time. I'll order a Starbucks. What's your name? Tori. Okay, Corey. Tori. It's Tori. Okay, Corey. Like, oh my god, whatever.
And then they write Tori with an I at the end, right?
Yeah, and then some asshole comes in and calls me Tori from Tigard.
At the store, I always answer the phone like, "This is Eric. How may I help you?" And they're like, "Hey, Zach." And I'm always like, "What?"
How does that even make sense?
Zach from Eric. Like, I understand like Derek or something like that sometimes, but like Zach, it happens like all the time, like once a day. It's like, Eric. What are you hearing?
Is your phone's like buzzy where somebody thinks they hear a Z?
Maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, that's strange. That's strange. Clays, do you ever get called Zach?
No, not ever. That's usually it's just my last name because it's a German last name. They pronounce the E as they say Klesser or things like that.
Yeah, so. I think I did that honestly the first time I saw your name. How exactly do you say your name?
It's Glazer. Like I told you, it's like Blazer with a K.
Got you. I didn't know if there was like some like fancy little like accent you put on it or something.
No.
Got you.
No. It's not French.
Glazer. Who should we trade next? I think that's pretty obvious. Hassan Whiteside. I think we got one trade left. I don't think we'll do any other trades. I think it'll be Whiteside. Maybe we'll attach somebody to him, but that's about it. Trade thoughts. But dude, I had a Bazemore trade ideas video planned. I just was being
took too long.
I know I took too long, man. It just always takes me longer for videos than I expect, and I get distracted with other things and streams and whatnot, and yeah, it's kind of sucks, but
luckily for me, it kind of screws my. I was gonna have like a tax evasion trade video where we basically traded Bazemore and Whiteside in one.
You were gonna have a tax evasion tutorial?
Yeah, but like that can't. Well, now it's just strictly trying to get out of the text by just trading Whiteside, and that's a lot harder to do because 25% or 125%, 150% of trades. It's much easier when you're talking about 46 million versus 27 million. But luckily the two fan or chat comments that I was going to talk about from my last video were both only involving Whiteside, so I can still talk about those.
Yeah. We still got 3 weeks of trade talk. Now it's just going to be a little bit less, have a little bit less luster to it,
Yeah.
All those Bazemore. That's the thing. It was fun having 2 expiring contracts like that. Because my whole idea, for those of you who don't know, I wanted to do a Bazemore 10 ideas trade video and then a Whiteside 10 ideas trade video. And then do a 2K video, a rebuild. For those of you who like 2K, I haven't done one of those since like the start of the season. And basically randomly select one trade of each. Now I can't do that. It took too much time. Damn. I didn't expect a trade to go down today, as I said.
Trevin says he was away from his phone, so no notification, and got on Twitter and my computer. And 503 fan said we really traded for Swanigan and Ariza, and I was so confused.
Yeah, I was confused when somebody tagged me on Twitter within like 20 seconds of the tweet being out, and I don't know if I would have seen it. So shout out to I think it was Dylan. I don't even know if he watches my streams that much. He's probably not even in here. I think he just follows me on Twitter, but he helped me out with that. Somebody said Spurs might send DeRozan and Aldridge to the Heat. Rumor, okay. I highly doubt that. The Heat can't really trade a first-round pick, and I don't know. I just highly doubt they would be able to pull that off.
And I don't know if they would need him with Butler and Hero and and Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn, and they're kind of seems to be set on their backcourt. Seems to be pretty good, and I don't know if DeRozan fits in with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, DeRozan with Butler would be weird. They already got like a playmaking big guard who doesn't shoot well from 3. They don't really need another one of those. It's kind of hard to fit 2 of those guys in. Like Jimmy Butler and DeRozan need the ball and need to be making plays in order for them to be effective, especially DeRozan because he doesn't defend like Butler. So that doesn't make much sense, and I'm not sure. I don't know. Aldridge, I don't know. The thing with the Heat is, let me get old Jakob. God, dude won't tell me how to say his name. We'll just refuse to. Old Jakob Hauge for the $20.
You got to say something like way off.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to. Old
Hauge.
Old Jacob Hauge for the $20 Norwegian crony donation said, "Well, can things get any worse from now?" Yeah, they could. I'm not gonna say how. I don't want to go down that road. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is with the Heat, their pieces just fit so perfectly together that if they were to trade for like a big name player, it would need to be somebody that was just like all around solid, could play off the ball, play on the ball, maybe defend a little bit, hit threes. DeRozan and Aldridge are kind of unique players that need the ball and they're kind of like hard to fit in on certain teams. I don't think they'd fit in super well with the Miami Heat. They wouldn't fit in as well as like a Chris Paul would or somebody like that. So I don't like either of those guys for that team because they just surrounded Butler with a bunch of shooters and it's worked. It's been phenomenal for them this year.
Well, we've talked about this before too. They can't really trade picks, so like what assets are they? They're not going to include Bam, so what? They're not going to include Tyler Hero in that trade. So why would they? I mean, Spurs aren't going to want like Olenek, Dragic, and Dion Waiters or something with no draft picks involved,
Yeah, for sure. Somebody said Whiteside for Adams and a first. OKC wouldn't give up a first to trade Adams for Whiteside. I don't even think they'd necessarily trade Adams straight up for Whiteside, but that is an intriguing trade if that would possibly
You'd probably have to throw in a first that way.
I don't think he's outside of their timeline as either. I think he's 26.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's not like he's pushing 30. It's not like CJ's age, where he's like you need to go to a contender. He can be on a mediocre team for a couple years and then hit his prime.
Yeah. That's the type of... I'd be interested in that trade, though, straight up, because as I've talked about... Oh, here we go. Jacob Halge with the $20 Norwegian cronies. Have some more. Pronounce it right this time. You never told me how to pronounce it, homie. So if you want me to pronounce it right, you got to help me out. You're leaving me out on an island.
If you want,
here.
Tori, I work with a lot of Norwegians, so if you want me to I can give you some insider pronunciation information if you need me to follow up on that.
All right, so how do you say his name?
No, I don't know.
You don't know?
He's going to find out.
Okay,
I can find out from... I work with a bunch of Norwegian guys. One of the 17 countries that we fly out of here with, so...
Got you. Okay, I thought you were saying you might know. Yeah, please help me out with that because it's been driving me crazy, man. And he likes that it's been driving me crazy, so I just need to know, and then I can roll with it. And then if it's wrong, it's wrong. But at least I'd have some. He said it's like Jakob Poeltl from the Spurs. Okay, so his name's Jakob. See, I thought so. This is amazing. Yeah, we're all talking about your damn name. You feel special?
No, Brian Scalabrine's not right. He never said that. It was other people in chat who said it, and you tried to pronounce it that way once.
Well, oh my God, this drives me crazy, bro. So what was I talking about before this? Oh, Steven Adams. Yeah, we've talked about 2-year contracts being better than 1-year contracts. Steven Adams is on a 2-year contract. He'd actually, I think, be okay being a backup center to Nurkic. Nurkic and Adams would be a fun duo there. Portland fans would love Steven Adams. And he'd be a $25 million expiring contract next year. Not much drop-off from Whiteside. Just, wouldn't have the possibility of leaving this summer and would be more okay being a backup center. So if that was available, I don't know. If the Thunder just wanted to create, like, get off that salary, still have a good... Well, here's like the only way it would make sense to me for the Thunder is if they still wanted an elite center. They didn't want to downgrade from Adams, but they didn't necessarily want to pay their starting center $26 million next year. Maybe they trade Adams for Whiteside because Whiteside would still be just as good of a center, so they could make their playoff run or whatever, but then it would provide them some flexibility. It would get them off of Adams' contract this summer, and then they could still bring back Whiteside if they wanted. That's the only way it makes sense. It's still just kind of iffy for other reasons.
I feel like it would just be better for them to keep Noel, though, and pay him like $10 million instead of...
Yeah, but I mean... Well, then you just let Whiteside walk. You'd get off of Adams' contract, and you'd still have a good center for the rest of the year. But I don't see them doing that. But that would be kind of interesting. I think it'd save Portland a couple $1 million too, so that makes sense for Jody. That could be interesting, but I don't think it's possible.
I think you'd have to attach one of the young guys or a first rounder to get Adams.
Yeah, or maybe second round picks, but we only have 2 left, so I mean, yeah, definitely. I don't know. Eric, we hear you whispering, bro. Eric, you have the mute button right there, bro.
Fine, later.
No, I mean, don't. Oh my goodness, man! Literally just has to click his mouse. Because I can't. Well, usually I just like mute that for him and take care of it for him. But we got 2 people on here, so it'd mute both of you guys. But now Eric's upset. Damn. All right, Eric's mad at me, chat. I apologize, Mr. Brandt. Shoot.
Sorry, you got backup Eric at least.
Yeah, I got back. Hey, I got replacement Eric, so I'm good actually. Eric's being replaced with Eric.
I'll be looking for a hobby here next year when I retire. So.
Hey, man, yeah, we'll bring you back for sure. Fine, he said. Yeah, he said. I know his headphones are still in, so he's hearing everything. But yeah, fine. Oh man, I love Eric, man. But Eric, I feel you, buddy. This is all on Tori. Jacoby, get out of here, bro. You're asking for a 300-second ban, man, just because actually no, you donated, so you get the privilege of hating on me and whatever. You guys got me flustered now. Fire Eric and hire Eric. Fire Eric. We got hashtag Fire Eric in the chat. Oh my god, you guys are brutal.
Just trying to make it the Vancouver Blazers Uprise.
Oh, I know. Vancouver, we don't got that Beaverton representation, Hillsborough. Oh my god, you guys are brutal. Fire me, bro. It's my how do I fire myself from my own channel? Lillard should put a little bit of effort. Then we got Hamza in there. Lillard should put a little bit of effort. What are you talking about?
He's talking about how Lillard had 0 rebounds. He thinks that's due to a lack of effort.
I mean, he doesn't really crash the boards hard, but when you're busting your ass on offense as much as he does, Eric about to overthrow Tori.
Doesn't he average almost 5 rebounds a game?
Yeah,
it's not
he's not a bad point guard.
Uncommon.
Yeah.
I will say I started about a month ago. Started watching every time Dame moves after he has the initial pass.
Mm-hmm.
Our offense efficiency is crazy good.
Yeah, when he moves.
And when he throws the pass and just stands there, like, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't have any metrics or stats or advanced things. I mean, it's just the eye test. But I've watched him throw a pass, do a crazy hard cut, go around the 3-point line, and have a curl for a wide open shot.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I know he has to exert so much, effort and all that to keep the team alive, since the rest of the offense is mostly terrible. But if he just ran, him and CJ off the initial pass, just move kind of like Steph Curry does. I mean, I'm not trying to emulate him, but if they moved without the ball like that, I think our offense would be so much more efficient.
Oh, it would. It'd get Dame easier shots. I've been saying this since the preseason. They need to do a better job of effectively using Dame off the ball, whether that's in sets, whether that's getting him to consistently move, getting guys comfortable, freelancing and freeing him up. I mean, you watch the Golden State Warriors, a lot of that is actually freelance. They're just really good at it, and they free up Steph Curry a lot. The problem is I feel like Eric's crying in the chat. I feel like Dame a lot of times will try and move off the ball and he'll cut, but everybody else is standing around and there's really nowhere good for him to cut and he's being smothered anyway. I feel like other guys have to be on the same page with him, set him, if Dame passes the ball, set him a back screen or, kind of set him screens or move. It takes multiple people moving to keep the floor spaced while guys are moving, if that makes sense.
To Clay's point, every time they seem to run a play for him off ball, he gets a good shot. So, I'm just curious why they don't do it more.
And again, I know you guys. I'm not as critical on the coaching, I guess, as you guys are. But I mean, is that a coaching thing or is that a Lillard thing? Is that Lillard only wants to put that kind of effort in, to potentially get a shot or not? If on a rare occasion.
Yeah.
Or is it because he has to save his energy for all the other things he does?
I'd say this. If other players on the team moved well, then I'd be more inclined to say it's a Lillard thing. But you have just a history of guys in Portland Trailblazer uniforms that just stand around, don't cut. You look at Hazonia this year. He cut more in the past. This year he just stands around a lot. You look at Maurice Harkless, Al-Farouq Aminu in the past. I mean, it's just been a common theme where it's not just Dame, it's pretty much everybody just stands around. The only people that noticeably haven't just stood around, I mean, Jake Layman is really the only guy that's moved consistently off the ball. So if it was just something where it was just Dame, then I'd say, yeah, Dame needs to move more. But it's just it's almost every single player, and that makes me more inclined to believe it's something with the coaching. Now, maybe they're just following Dame's lead with him being the leader. It's kind of hard to tell. I'm not saying it's definitively on Stotts or not. I just feel like you have a pattern of multiple players that just stand around and watch, and I feel like that leads me to believe it's more coaching.
And I don't know if you remember 3 years ago, they kept showing the CJ McCollum stat where he was leading the league in miles run on the court. Or what? I mean, is that still a thing, or is he just not doing that anymore.
That's still a thing, but a lot of times, a lot of those miles come from them just like running around the 3-point arc. You know that play they have where they pass it and then they run like in a circle around, and it's, I don't know, usually guys don't get the ball. Like, I feel like a lot of the movement in their sets isn't entirely productive. I feel, I don't know. Eric, you might be able to explain that a little bit better than me. You kind of get what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah, they do the dribble, handoff, weave type plays up top where they're just running around, and it's no motion towards the basket. It's all wasted motion. Or they do those little flare things where you have to try to lob a pass over the top of the defense, and it hardly ever works.
Yeah.
I feel like there is a lot of wasted movement.
So if we're moving, why aren't we using productive movement? Is that a coaching thing or is that a player thing? Stotts has only had these core players pretty much his whole coaching career.
Right. That's why I would love to see Dave and CJ under a different coach to see the answer to that question, if it's them or if but yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
I think a lot of it is set design, though. I feel like a lot of their sets always tend to result in a dribble handoff or a pick and roll. They kind of result in the same type of actions. I don't see a lot of I don't see back screens for wings. I don't see UCLA cuts. I rarely see a cross screen for a big, like those types of actions. You know what I mean? A lot of it is the flow, and I feel like, the flow offense is basically a lot of like perimeter movement, weave, dribble, handoff, that type of movement. So I do think it is a bit of the system. There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
So
he raging at a video game?
Yeah, when I muted earlier, I was he wanted help setting the game up or getting his game set up. He's only 7, so it's hard.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you heard me, but what I was saying was usually I just help you out and just like mute you until I hear you come back. Then I'll mute you, but I'd also mute Clay's, so I couldn't do that. But anyway. No, those are some great questions, man. Those are some great questions. I agree with Eric. I would like to see a different coach just to see the difference in style of play. I wouldn't. Yeah, for sure. I don't want to see like a similar coach to Stotts, though. I don't want to see a Mark Jackson. He had kind of the same problems. I don't want to see I want to see somebody that's just a different style of coach, maybe holds players just a little bit more accountable, just a fresh voice in the locker room, but just like some fresh ideas as well. It can't just be like any new coach. Like, we need some fresh ideas. We need to embrace ball movement a little bit more, player movement a little bit more. So I don't necessarily know exactly what type of what specific coach I want. I know what type of coach I want, though.
Like Budenholzer.
I would have loved Budenholzer, man. I would have loved Budenholzer, because he's adaptable. He adapts to the players he has. I mean, you look at what he did with a lineup of Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver, Damari Carroll, Paul Millsap, and Al Horford. That team was dominant, and it folded in the playoffs, but it had one of the most dominant regular seasons from a team without a superstar player that I've ever seen. And I feel like, I don't know, I just want to see could Dame and CJ play that style of basketball? Could they be a contributory part to that style, or would they kind of clash with the coach and try and isolate more than the coach wanted? What would happen there? I just want to see something new, because Dame's only had one NBA coach. CJ's only had one NBA coach. So, who knows? Who knows, honestly, what the difference would be. Don't put Stotts' last name on my first name, Jakob.
Torrey Stotts.
Hell but yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. You got multiple people who are putting Stotts' last name on my first name. What the hell? You guys are...
It's because you told him not to.
I know. Well, no, that Destrom did it before. There you got Jacoby. That's what I'm gonna call him from now on. Jacoby. Torrey Stotts does sound good. Yeah, because his name's Terry, so Torrey gets close. I get it. Duty calls. Oh, do you have any thoughts to that, Clays? Or,
I mean, yeah, like I said, I would love to see either different players under Stotts or different coach with these players just to see if it's because it's so hard to just say, oh, it's a Stotts thing. It's, it's a lack of this or that. I mean, that could be it, or it could be, I mean, who's running the team? The guy making 200 million or the guy making 10 million?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the tough question, because I don't know how much power Stotts even has over the roster. Because when you see guys like Horde and Trent Jr. and guys who are playing for an NBA career in the game, you see a lot more movement. You see a lot more, rotating on the defensive end. You see a lot more cuts. You see, I just don't know if that's...
See, that could be something where they haven't had enough time under Stotts to get that, out of their system.
Yeah. Although it does scare me too with like Anthony's progression, like he's starting to turn into Dame, and that could be a great thing, but it also could be a bad thing because we don't know if he's as talented as him. He starts.
I think it's starting to turn into more CJ.
Or I would actually, I would say that's even better.
He had some CJ-esque possessions tonight, and it was just like, oh no, this is the way we're going with this kid. Like, I'd hate to see him progress like that. But the thing is with me, man, is there's some things that I blame on coaching that I understand why some people wouldn't put it on coaching. There's some things that are subjective as to, okay, who's responsible for this problem on the court? Is it the players or the coaching? And I can see both sides of the argument. I might blame him for coaching, but I can understand if somebody doesn't blame the coach for that. You know what I mean? That's how I'm different than mainstream media. I'm not going to judge people for not thinking it's coaching or thinking of coaching or whatever. It's subjective, it's up to your own opinion. That's what I get so frustrated with on Twitter with media guys. I mean, you're not Clays doesn't use Twitter, you don't use Twitter, but I mean, I deal with people tweeting out stuff all the time, and I talk about it all the time. It's just like these media guys, it's like they won't accept anything else other than what they think. For me, it's like, I understand how, somebody could think it's the players, it's Dame, it's CJ, that's why they don't move, it's not on Stotts. I understand the logic, even if I don't necessarily fully agree with it, I can still understand it.
And I'm not picking a side, whether I'm against the Stotts or against the players, or I mean, I'm sure it's probably a good combination of the personnel and the coaching. And I mean, we got to do something about it. And for the ease of franchise, the easier route to try to see what the problem is to replace the coach. Cause there's not implications for salary towards a cap and things like that. Like there is like, oh, we need to get rid of CJ because he doesn't fit this system.
Yeah,
that you can't just move $150 million that easy.
Exactly. I think CJ and Dame can win a championship. You put the right forwards with them, and you get them playing the right style of basketball, moving the ball and playing off each other. Like I think CJ's. People talk about defensively those guys aren't good enough together, but I think CJ's on-ball defense has improved. I think CJ's on-ball defense is actually pretty solid now. The only guy who really takes advantage of his lack of height at the shooting guard position is Klay Thompson, but Klay Thompson does that to a lot of people. He's like 6'6", 6'7", and has that high release on that mid-range shot, and knocks it down. That's pretty much the only guy I've really seen CJ be really undersized against. But I think his
off-ball defense.
His off-ball defense is what's rough.
It's
but
the
that's
rotations and the.
But that's not an undersized thing. That's not Dame and CJ are so undersized. CJ's defending poorly off the ball. That's CJ just doesn't know where to be, doesn't have the awareness or something like that. And maybe that can be improved, maybe not. But it's not due to him being 6'3". We still got Mr. Brandt in here.
Yeah, unless I muted myself and didn't change it. Nope, I'm here.
Yeah, no, you're here. You're here.
So, one thing that drives me crazy is it's fine if you think that Dame and CJ are going off on their own and they're not like it's they're either responsible or not responsible for this. Either way is fine. But then I don't get if the people who say the ball movement is not on Stotts, it's on Dame and CJ. But then they're the same people who will be like, well, look at this roster that Stotts carried to the Western Conference Finals. I think it's either you have to give Dame and CJ the credit for that and for basically everything, or you have to give Stotts the credit or discredit what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, Eric, Michael Rennell is asking for your take on the trade.
It's all right. If that's the best we could do, I guess I'm fine with it. I just think that should have been more towards the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm. If it's the only trade, what is your grade on it?
If it's the only trade, I am going to be mad, and I give it like a D probably.
Okay.
And it's not really. I mean, yeah, it's Olshe's fault because he got himself into this mess to begin with the high payroll. But like, if he's being told to cut tax and to not add in money to this team or whatever since they're below 500, then he pretty much did the best trade he could do to save money without giving up like huge assets. Mm-hmm. So like, I guess that's fine. But like, if that's the route we're going to take, then it's going to be really hard to compete in these next few years in Dame's prime. So like, yeah, I don't know what the point of that is. I'm hoping they're just like, you know what, let's reset, push these contracts to next year while ducking some tax money so we're not quite as bad a shape moving forward. And then, yeah.
Yeah. So D, if this is the only move, let's say Neil trades Hassan Whiteside for Otto Porter Jr. Then what do you grade the Kent Bazemore for Ariza trade? Does your grade go up?
Yeah, probably. A lot of that's going to depend on what other players get moved. Because, like, if Covington and Jang get moved for a first-round pick and an expiring contract, then I'm going to be mad if it's not to us, you know? Mm-hmm. or like, if there's some other trade similar to this where teams only gave up, like, one second-round pick instead of two, I'm going to question why we didn't trade with that team instead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
just
hope,
kind of a wait-and-see type of thing, huh?
Right, yeah. I'm just puzzled by the timing of it. We're already shorthanded. You knew you had sick players, CJ hurt. Like, obviously, if you agree to a trade, you agree to a trade, and you don't want to play those players and risk them getting hurt either. But I was just surprised that we made a move now, considering we had a back-to-back and we had such a depleted roster.
Yeah,
but
and the importance of the game as well. I mean,
right?
Yeah, that was the other part of it. Is you're going up against a team you're chasing for the 7th seed. You probably need the 7th seed to end up winning in the first round. And you trade these guys today. You couldn't trade them tomorrow. Like, I thought that was weird timing because this was such an important game tonight.
Well, and especially divisional and conference record tiebreakers as well.
Mm-hmm. Like tiebreakers on the line. You know, that's the thing is. We could have been 4.5 games back if we won this game, and we would have had the tiebreaker against them. Now we're 6.5 games back, and there's a better chance than not that we won't have the tiebreaker with them. So that's basically a 3-game swing if you really think about it. 2 games in the standings, and then like the tiebreaker is basically like another game if you think about it. So that's a huge swing. But shout out to Jacoby Huge for the $20 Norwegian Krone donation. Said, did Olshe have to cut all those players last year? Yeah, I mean, he didn't cut them. They were free agents, and they walked and signed with other teams, but he could only bring back one of Curry, Hood, and Cantor, and I think he made the right decision. Even though Hood got hurt, I still think it was the right decision. You know, he didn't know Hood was going to get hurt, and Hood was the better of the 3 when he was healthy, so Hood was definitely the right decision.
Can we talk for a minute about what the People's Mix WTF pause is saying?
Let me just respond to Michael first. It'll be like 10 seconds.
Okay.
He said, I'm so sorry, but who is the new guy? We have a panel starting here. I like it. As I've said in the past, some of you guys might have missed it. If you donate $10 a month or more to me on Patreon, then you get the chance to come on the channel, to come on a live podcast or come on a live stream. So that's why we got Eric number 2. That's why we're calling him Clays, so you guys don't get confused. But he's a Patreon donor, a supporter of ours, and we greatly appreciate that support. So we got him on the channel. He's actually very well spoken. I'm pleasantly surprised. he's done a good job. So I like the vibe in here right now. So
hopefully I set the bar, not at the Hazonia level, but
you're
a little bit better.
You're setting it at a what bar is he setting, Eric? Is he setting it at a Dame level or a CJ level, a Whiteside level?
He's setting it at a solid prospect, high hopes for the future type.
He's setting it above a Chad Doing level. Let's just say that.
Oh, man, dude. That's like saying he's setting it above the Hazonia level.
True.
Like,
yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I know that's not. Yeah, you're right. That's not saying much. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Eric?
So People's Mix said that he's comparing this situation to the Oklahoma City situation this summer when they traded Jeremy Grant after trading Paul George. And then he said Westbrook got all mad and wanted out, which I don't recall that being the case. I thought he came out and said he would be fine staying or being traded, like he doesn't care. Mm-hmm. But so he was saying if we trade Whiteside like in a tax saving move, Dave's going to request a trade. And I don't feel that's the same way at all. I'm pretty sure they probably let Dame know what the plan was this whole season, and that they know that Dame's not dumb. He knows their only avenue of improving the team without messing with it too much is to trade Bazemore and Whiteside. And so if Whiteside gets traded, he's not gonna flip. He's gonna be like, okay, that's right. And he might actually be cool with that, because out of all the players he's played with recently, seems to have the biggest problem with Whiteside, like visibly on the court sometimes. It's gotten a lot better lately, but he's usually not vocal with players in public. So the fact that he is with Whiteside, I don't think that'll be a problem at all.
Yeah.
He knows everything Dame said.
He knows Nurkic is a starting center. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Not like they're trading him for a guy like Dame isn't familiar with. He knows Nurkic is going to come back and be the starting center and take Whiteside's role. So
if we traded Nurk right now to get rid of the tax and then didn't re-sign Whiteside, then maybe you'd have a point. Yeah. But yeah. But they can't just trade Whiteside for nothing, though, like the People's Mix is suggesting. Like, they have to trade him for something back. So
they could trade him for Chandler Parsons. That would basically be nothing.
Right, but that's not going to save them really money. That doesn't get them to deduct the tax.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is, like, does Dallas still have the trade exemption for the Kristaps trade?
Yeah, it's not nowhere near big enough to take on one side, though.
It's only $10 million, and you can't combine it with anything.
Gotcha.
Yep. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. I don't. Dame isn't gonna. That's not gonna happen with Dame. People need to stop worrying about Dame. Could you imagine if he didn't sign that extension this past offseason?
People would flip out.
People would be freaking out.
It'd be like Aldridge 2.0.
People would be losing their minds right now if he's just like, oh, I want to wait on it, like Aldridge said, and then we have a season like this. Literally, that would be. Thank God he signed that extension, because people were still worried about him when he's under contract for the next 5 seasons. I could only imagine if he was going to be a free agent in 2021. You'd hear a bunch of people talking about, oh, so-and-so team is going to go after Dame in 2021, and Dame should sign with so-and-so, and Dame should leave Portland. You'd be hearing that like crazy right now, and the fan base would be tripping out. And rightfully so if he ended up passing up an extension and was going to be a free agent in 2021, the season we're having. But I could only imagine.
But, like, he's been coming out with those Adidas videos every week. And every week he talks about how he's not going anywhere. He's not leaving. Like, I don't know what more he has to say to, like, prove that he doesn't want to leave Portland. He wants to make it work here. He doesn't want to go elsewhere. He's not going to request a trade unless it's, like, towards the end of his career and he just wants to maybe go to a good team. But, like, the next 3 years, I'm 100% confident he will not request a trade unless the team just does something really stupid. But I don't think trading Whiteside to get under the tax even comes close to qualifying as really stupid. I think it's actually kind of smart considering the team this year.
Yeah. Yep. Have oh my god, who's running the Adrian Wojnarowski burner from in here? Could somebody please step up and tell me who's running the Adrian Wojnarowski burner? There was a tweet on this Adrian Wojnarowski burner account that says ESPN sources say that the Portland Trail Blazers are trading coach Terry Stotts to Blazers Uprise for Torrey Jones. Blazers Uprise plans to waive Stotts and sign Eric Kleiser to run the channel as Eric Brandt's sidekick.
Nice.
So apparently I'm the coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. Apparently you're the new me. You're the new like head of Blazers Uprise, Eric, and Kleiser, you're the new Eric.
We got Eric squared.
Yeah.
If that's the case, it's going to be pretty tough for me until probably about June or July of next year.
Yeah. I better.
So I'm going to take a 1.5 year sabbatical while I finish my career, and then I'll have nothing but time for the channel.
Yeah.
Fake news.
You got Eric Brandt. Apparently you're waving Stotts from Blazers Uprise. Apparently I gotta go coach this damn team. Injuries are the only problem with this team, guys. I gotta go coach this team. Yeah, injuries is the only problem. We missed too many shots. I got a good. That's the attitude I gotta have. Okay.
And then after 1 week of Torrey coaching them, if they don't start cutting and rotating, we know it's a personnel problem, not a coaching problem.
Yeah, no, I'll have Eric Brandt in here like Torrey Jones is the worst. Blah, blah,
God,
blah.
no one cuts ever.
Yeah, and then Chad.
That's what you're running.
And then Chad Dewing would be conflicted because he wouldn't want to criticize the coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, but it'd also be me. So then, like, which side would he pick? Would Chad become my best friend and Eric Brandt would become my enemy? Like, oh my goodness, that would be
It's pretty funny.
Totally railing. Yeah, that would be the dilemma. Because if Chad criticized you this season, he would be admitting that coaching does have an effect.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't, then he's basically admitting you're doing fine, like can't criticize you at all because of injuries. So like, yeah,
I just get him fired as a head coach. You know, I just go to O'Shea like, hey man, this guy called me a donkey, and he's on our post-game show on Rip City Radio for Blazers Broadcasting or whatever. Let's pull some strings. And then, you know, then he'd support me. You know, if I held that over his head, So I just power plays, right? O'Shea has those power plays. I just have to get on O'Shea's side.
Yeah, Kobe hired his video replay analysis with the $2 Norwegian krone.
Yeah, you hired yourself with your own money. Congrats. appreciate the donation. Oh my god.
So Torrey, I have a couple questions that maybe chat is curious
All right, let's
answering, since I'm kind of chat.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear it.
So after watching months and months of these, for one, where's the rap?
Oh my goodness. So that's
because I think you said originally in that video that you would, if you got the $100 donation, you would actually do the rap at that time. Like it wasn't like let's plan for. I think you need to go back and.
Torrey's not like that.
Maybe no. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was like I was gonna like record it and try and make it sound like legit and serious. I didn't think I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I honestly didn't think it was like freestyle off the top. Like, I think people want to hear it. Like
I think the words were like, "I will drop it right now," like type.
It
words.
might have been. I don't know, dude. I don't remember the stuff I say on these streams. I just thought it was. I was gonna like produce something and try and make it like sound legit, and people would be like, "Oh, is this actually gonna sound crap, corny, cringy, like, or is this actually gonna sound like okay?"
Yeah, if anyone knows Torrey, you should have known it would be months.
Well, bro, I mean, like, if I lived by myself, then it'd probably be here by now. But I'm not about to record that stuff with people in the house. Hell no. But hell no, man. Why that would be bad. We got Captain Cap'n $2 donation said it's a fake Wojnarowski account, reports say. Okay. Appreciate the donation. Captain
Is that him admitting it's him?
I think so. I feel like it is. Is Captain Cap'n. I feel like, well, Captain Cap'n was somebody else too, though. Who's Captain Cap'n before Captain Cap'n?
I don't know. Dane Dollar.
I thought it was Russell for. I don't know. You guys drive me crazy with these burners. Yeah. So I want to make it. I want to get it.
Yo Mama. It's Yo Mama.
Oh yeah, it is Yo Mama. You're right. That makes sense. He has his different personas. He has funny personas though. Throw us a bar, just one. For $100, I'll throw you a 4-bar Saturday right now. No, I'm gonna get it like mixed and mastered. Like I'm gonna actually try and like work it enough so that it doesn't sound bad or cringy. Like I don't want it to sound cringy. So that's gonna take some work.
You already dropped the bar to Travioli with the ravioli.
Oh my god, bro.
That was terrible.
That was, bro.
Hey, where's Travioli been, man?
Where has Travioli been, bro? I forgot
he's getting married on like the 25th. Next Saturday is his wedding day.
Oh yeah, what the hell? I thought he said he was gonna invite us.
I don't know.
Couldn't make it, but shoot, man, where has Travioli been? That's my guy, man. That's the thing is, I always miss when regulars just all of a sudden disappears. It's like, what's up with that?
Well, the tough part is you can't like get a hold of him. YouTube's not like social media where you're like following them and you can just DM them or something to see how they're doing.
Exactly. So, answer to your first question was, it'll come probably before the end of the season. Hopefully before the end of the season. If not, it's not my own fault. But like I need a. It'll come before the end of the season. Actually,
will come before Whiteside's not on the roster.
Probably not, because I'm gonna work to the point that it's not cringy, but that's hard because I don't do that. I thought the deal was $100 in one stream for the rap. Yeah, I did get $100 in one stream, and I'm gonna release the rap. That'll be coming before the end of the season. I didn't put a timetable on it. I'm not trying to be like that guy that's like, I never said I'll release it. I might release it when I'm 90. I never said. I'm not being like that. I'm just saying before the end of the season.
Tori's a bit of a perfectionist, so it's gonna be a while.
True.
Nice.
Well, I mean, you guys put yourself in my shoes. Would you guys want to put something out there that sounds cringy and corny and bad, or would you want to make it sound like?
Well, you specifically said it's going to sound cringy, corny, and bad, but
exactly.
for $100,
I'm lowering expectations so people think it's better than it is.
Who's the guy looking through all the videos, looking at timestamps right now?
Russell first round exit Westbrook.
I think Russell first round exit Westbrook needs to go look at that timestamp of that deal when it first came to fruition.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in here. I don't think he's in here. I haven't seen him. He said was he the one that said he had bio homework earlier today or yesterday?
That was last night.
Yeah, so I think he has homework on a weekend.
No.
Our professional timestamper isn't even in here to help you out with that one. Reports say that Eminem is dropping a Tory Jones diss track next week. I'll turn Eminem into MGK. I'm just saying. Anyway, drop a diss track on Chad. Honestly, once I release my first one, the next one will be donate this much, and I'll drop a diss track on Chad. That'll be the next one.
I also was going to give you crap about you were talking about your amazing free throw percentage, and you're going to be the free throw 80% above whatever.
Yeah.
So when the lights were on at the Les Schwab tournament, what'd you shoot?
I don't remember.
When you were looking up that box score.
I'm a better free throw shooter than I was back then, though.
All right. I'm just saying
he's got an excuse for everything, Clay.
No, that's not how's that an excuse saying I'm better than I used to be or something, bro? You hating on me. I already got chat hating on me.
Like, I think you missed as many free throws out of 4 that you missed out of 60 and under the lights of the stadium.
Yeah. But that was what, 6-7 years ago? I'm a better free throw shooter now than I was then. I'm just saying, man. Because I wasn't going 58 for 60 back then. I literally shot 58 for 60 like the other day. Like, I literally consistently go 9 for 10 shooting. Obviously, it's different NBA stadium. I think I could possibly shoot 80% though. I didn't say for sure. I said I think I could possibly shoot 80%.
First P Last JL says it's okay, Tora. They just jelly. Yeah, we're toast jelly, man.
We got. I'm gonna show this message. Apparently, we got beef in the chat. Mellow Stay says at AM Productions 16. Just f off. You are too stupid to understand basketball. Whoa. Pause. You guys good? These guys are beefing. We got beef in the chat. I guess we need a moderator because I didn't even realize we had beef in the chat. You guys good? He told me to. I'm going through chat here. Can I get a run?
First round exit Westbrook says he's also captain, and Yo-Yo Mama.
Is he?
Man, that's disappointing.
Oh, it's all the same for damn. I'm just kidding. Doesn't surprise me though.
So, was your guys' beef over whether Boston would trade Gordon Hayward? That's what you guys are saying.
Yeah, can I get a rundown? Can
like,
whoever can Captain Cap'n come give me like a Wojnarowski report on this beef? Like, why do they call it beef? That's a good question actually. Why do they call it beef, Eric?
I don't know.
Clays, why do they call it beef, man? I'm actually wondering that.
Clays.
I don't know. Clays. I did call him Clays. Crap. Beef. Yeah, I don't know why they call it beef.
I don't know, beef, maybe like some just substance. I don't know.
Substance. They're having some substance.
I don't
know. Oh, maybe it has to do with like roast beef. You know, they're roasting each other, so they got beef.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Yeah, get your.
This is Tori's segue into promoting Arby's next.
Oh, dude, I wish I had Arby's as a sponsor. Are you kidding me? This chat beef brought to you by Arby's. Yeah.
And Sunkissed.
Sunkissed soda.
And Orange Chicken Panda Express.
Oh my god. No, I'm slandering their orange chicken. They wouldn't want to advertise me. It's not fresh. It's not consistent. It's like Anthony Simons, not consistent. I want some Dame Lillard type of orange chicken instead I get Anthony Simons orange chicken.
I'm reading some definitions. It doesn't really make sense, so I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah. Were you on Urban Dictionary?
I don't know. Like, first we have to explain why it's called beef and not cow meat. And then
what? Post Chad Doing's karaoke routine to your Twitter account. Let's get some more beef. What do you mean his karaoke routine? Is there a video of Chad doing karaoke? That'd be funny as hell, just to like post with no context and no words and just post it.
You can put that side by side with your rap.
Oh, I know.
You can make your rap from Chad Doing's karaoke.
I could sample his karaoke and make a diss track. I could sample it, bro. I will do that. I will do that for. That would be so good. I feel like the price should be hot. 250 in a stream. I feel like that would be so epic. Oh man, I would. God, that'd be so cruel. That'd be so hard.
And be here just for the 2025-2026 season.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I would be so like that would be so like cruel, tough. Like, I hope he'd understand it was all in good fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I don't know. Sample his. Oh my goodness.
I don't know much about you.
What'd you say?
R.I.P. Blazer says he'll copyright claim you if you sample his stuff. Yeah, no,
he doesn't know how to copyright claim.
I know.
but that would be funny. If he was a YouTuber, he could. But
I mean, Patreon truth is, I bet Tori doesn't even know who Hall & Oates is. So.
Who the hell is the People's Mix beefing with now? I'm so confused, guys. What's the? What?
I think it's AM Productions 16 is the between those two.
Let me just settle this real quick. AM Productions and Mellow Stay. So Gordon Hayward has one more year left on his contract. It's a player option, so he'll most likely accept it. But he's not the same as Kevin Love because Kevin Love still has 3 more years after this one on the same amount of money. So like trading for a player for 1 year is different than two or 3 years left afterwards. And Boston's not going to trade Gordon Hayward anyway, so it's not even a deal. Like they're just not going to trade him. So
yeah, it's not a realistic target. So what side were they on? I mean, let me just say this: it'd be a great target for us, but it's not like a realistic one. So what are their sides though?
I think one of them is saying, I don't know which because it's really confusing, but one of them saying that Gordon Hayward is basically like Love and Gallinari, like a scorer can't play defense, and the other one saying that no, he's actually decent on defense, which he is. He's not horrible. He's not a great defender, but he's not like terrible like those guys either. But yeah,
Mellow Stay said he's just saying, what if? All right, both of you guys got to calm down or I'm going to have to put you in timeout. Okay, so you guys are both consistent members of my community. I feel like a goddamn parent right now. Both of you guys are consistent members of this community, so both of you guys need to calm down, play nice to each other, and let's all be friends. All right? Okay. Pep talk over.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to like get mad at each other. Like people can have differing opinions. It's fine, as long as you're not like a Laker fan, right? People's mix.
Yeah, yeah, and he's starting to. Hey, People's Mix, you too. Hey, I'm 22. Do you guys want to see this fight? Should I just let him go run wild? Like,
no, it's.
Is it too far?
Yeah, freedom of speech. It's fine. It's just like, what's the point?
I mean, you don't have freedom of speech technically in my chat because a lot of these messages have like come up to be hidden or showed, and I wasn't even really paying attention. I was showing a lot of these, but
hold on. Shout out to Michael Ranello's wife. Hey, how you doing?
Hello. My wife is addicted to the show now. This is awesome. We were watching it together. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's dope. That's dope.
Randall Pink Floyd says, someone goes off, ignore them. Tori does it to EB all the time.
Oh, no, man.
I was just about to say that one. I was sitting here laughing. I had to put myself on mute when I saw that.
Hey, I'm not gonna even argue. Well, I try and read chat. The only reason I ignore Eric sometimes is because I'm trying to keep up with chat and read chat, and you guys will be popping off. It's saying a whole bunch of stuff all over the place. We got this whole battle right here going on that I gotta keep track with, and Eric will make some like complex, like well thought out, but like complex point about salary cap numbers and mid-level exceptions and stuff, and I'm just like,
Tori's falling asleep.
Yeah, no, I'll like try to read chat while also listen to you, and it's tough, man. It's tough.
Instead of going in depth, just call it injuries and move on.
Exactly, that's and then take calls for dude. Let's do the Chad doing way. Let's just call it injuries, then let's like take calls from people saying like, yeah, this team is injured. Oh, I know this team's so injured, right? Yeah, this team is injured. Okay, next caller. All right, so what do you think is bothering the Portland Trailblazers right now? Honestly, Chad, I just agree with you. They're injured. Oh yeah, they are injured. Oh yeah, okay, next caller. That would be easy.
Hey, Chad. Yeah, so CJ got hurt tonight. I think that's the reason why we're below 500 this season.
Oh, I know. CJ's injury has hurt us all season long. Oh, my goodness.
And then no one will ever bring up the fact that he played in the first 42 games.
Oh, Rodney Hood's injury. Yeah, not having him for this season has hurt us all season long. Same with Scalabissiere. Like... God, because that was the narrative like 6 games after Rodney Hood got out. It's like, how do you guys expect us to do better at all this season when we have Rodney Hood out? It's like he's been out 6 games. He played 16 or 17. Yeah. Anyway.
I think it was 20 as we were 8-12, I believe.
20. Okay. Yeah, there you go. I mean, the only guy we were missing was Collins, and it turned into how could you expect us to be any better than 8-12 when we're missing Zach Collins? And the same people saying that were like the people that were like, oh, we're contenders. This roster is going to contend and be one of the best rosters in the league. And then we lose Zach Collins, and it's like, oh, you expect them to be better than 8-12 without him? It's like, Zach Collins ain't that good. The People's Mix, who you beefing with, man?
I think him and AM Productions are going to fight.
Oh, my goodness. I told you guys to chill out. I told you guys to relax. I told you guys to sit back. You know, go take a food break. Go pop some popcorn. Go grab a sun-kissed orange soda, since that's my go-to now. And come back when you guys are cool, and let's chill.
Sounds like they apologized, but People's Mix is still going at it.
Oh.
Mello stay and Amp Productions. Hopefully you guys are cool. Hayward would be fine. He's not a bum. He's not a terrible contract anymore since he only has 1 year left. So you guys are both right in your opinions. It doesn't matter.
The People's Mix says spank me harder. Okay, well, I can do that by giving you a 300-second ban. There you go. There you go.
We got Clay's trying to actually answer people's questions.
Yeah.
You go ahead and take that question on the air, Clays.
No, I wanted to let you guys deal with the beef or whatever we're calling it.
Yeah, so, you're the guest. You're not in here to deal with us. We'll deal with that. But yeah, let's move past it. Any more comments about it? I'm putting a 300-second ban on people. All right, like we gotta chill. I'm laying down the hammer. I wish I had like that thing that judges have. What is it called?
Gavel.
I wish I had a gavel. Could just hit the desk. Would feel all badass. Someone in here calling me a B. Can't say I argued that point. Randall Pink Floyd. Give me a ban for no reason. Give me a ban for no reason, please. Okay, here you go. 300-second ban. Mr. Sampson, I don't even know who. I don't know. Maybe he's commented before, but that's not even a guy who was really commenting much in here. But there he goes.
He comments every once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, there he goes. Laying down the hammer like Thor.
Michael Rennell and his wife want to know how our defense effort and all that stuff was, which was what Clays was trying to answer.
Yeah, I'll let Clays handle that.
Yeah, like I was saying, I mean, the young guys, the Horde, the Trends, those guys, I thought they moved really well on rotation. The only thing I saw that was, in my opinion, negative was the pick and roll defense, not guarding the guy that, Whiteside or whoever was trying to play center, just sagging back, and Chris Paul and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shooting 18-footers wide open.
Yep.
But the off-ball defense on the wings and stuff, I thought was actually pretty good today. I didn't, there was a lot of deflections. I don't know, Tori has it up maybe, how many steals we had. We had a lot of steals, I felt like.
We had 7 steals, which is pretty solid. I think we averaged less than that. So, yeah, we were active tonight. You had Gary Trent Jr. had 3. He's really active with his hands, and I love the energy he plays with defensively. I didn't expect to be saying that this year, but I love the energy Gary Trent Jr. plays with defensively.
Noel just killed us. I thought just cutting to the hole, offensive rebounds, alley-oops, just.
And part of that is like people say, oh, you never even blame injuries. Like part of that is like when your center is Carmelo Anthony, it's really hard for him to drop with his lack of size and like take away the shot from the guy with the ball and take away the lob at the same time. Like it's really easy to lob it over the top on those guys. So that happened multiple times. Like if we had a bigger center, that probably doesn't happen as much. But I like the defense.
That's why I say just to switch every time when you have that small of a lineup. If Bella's your center, just switch and take your chances. He did fine job. A couple times he got switched on Chris Paul and he kept him in front of him. It's not that big of a deal.
And I will say, especially in the first half, I mean, they were just hitting shots that were some were very contested. I mean, when the first 5 minutes of the game when Paul had those 10 points and 4 for 4 shooting, I think he only had one open shot of those 4. And I thought the other 3 were pretty contested, and you'll live with those shots going in. I mean, like you said, sometimes guys just hit shots and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the energy. I do agree with you. I mean, when you get young guys in like that, a lot of time their problem isn't energy. A lot of time their problem isn't energy. It's like knowing how to defend well without fouling. It's knowing how to like position themselves. It's like other types of things. And that's the thing. Like our defensive energy hasn't been that good this season, I don't think. But the last 3 games overall, I think we've shown a lot better defensive energy, and it's been a lot easier to watch, I think.
I mean, if you would have told me we went 1-2 on this short road trip, I would have said I actually would have been happy with that. I mean,
yeah,
with the Houston, OKC, Dallas road trip coming around, like, with the way the roster is constructed right now, with 6'7" guys are starting backup centers and guys who shouldn't be in the NBA like Hazonia and stuff like that on playing 20+ minutes. And I mean, I would have never expected 1-2 even. I mean, it stinks that we got off such a good start, with the Charlotte, holding them off, and then the Houston dominant win of the year. And but I mean, this stretch, like I said, we're exactly what we expected out of this stretch right now.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, if you look at our record against winning teams so far this year, I was kind of expecting to be 0-3. We just have struggled to beat solid teams when you go on the road like that, down the number of guys we are, kind of struggling before this road trip. I wouldn't have been surprised to see us go 0-3. So the fact we picked up one is good. I just wish after winning that Houston game, I wish we could have picked up one of these last couple games, especially since we were competitive in it for stretches. We were there in that Dallas game. We were there in the third quarter in this OKC game, and then they pulled away like –
when it was 75-71, and we had the momentum. We had all those open shots. We were playing good. We were rotating. Defense was great, I thought, in the early to mid third quarter. Yeah. And then like I said, Trent missed those shots, and then Dame and Carmelo and Hazonia showed up, and it was instantly gone, all that momentum.
Yeah. Yep.
And it never came back until Gary Trent started chucking threes with 20 seconds left.
Christopher is asking when Ariza is going to make his debut. Because of when Gabriel signed his contract, he's not eligible to be traded till Tuesday. So most likely, as long as everyone passes their physical, it wouldn't be till the game on Thursday, which I believe is Dallas. We only have one game in between there. We got Golden State on Monday, so none of the players will be able to play in that one either.
Yeah. But
is it Monday or Tuesday?
Golden State's Monday.
We play Monday, Golden State.
And then Thursday we play against – you got the schedule
Dallas. It's Dallas.
Dallas, okay.
I get confused here sometimes because it's Tuesday my time. So it's
right.
Like, no, wait.
Yeah, got you.
Monday here is MLK Day, and NBA always makes a big deal. There's games starting early in the morning, and they go all day and stuff.
Yeah.
So – We got a stretch of a couple days off between games. That would be nice just to kind of like slow things down a little bit. I feel like we've had a game at least every other day for the past month. I can't remember the last time we had 2 days off between games. I don't think that's been the case at all this year. But I mean, this year as in 2020, not this, this entire season. Yeah. But so that'll be nice because we play the 20th and the 23rd and the 26th and the 29th. So we'll have a couple days in between. That'll be nice to like get videos out. It's just tough to get videos out when we're doing podcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday, post-game shows every other day. That's like 6-7 streams a week, so I definitely
throw in the trade video.
So I will use that time for you guys to get you guys out a couple more videos since we won't be streaming quite as much. But that'll be nice just to have a couple days in between instead of one.
So with our completed roster going against the Warriors, who we've already lost to this year, what? Let's talk about that game a little bit. The Warriors game coming up.
If we don't have CJ, that's a game we could definitely lose. That loss would be very, very tough to handle. Would be very, very tough. Going 9 games under 500. Against a team that's like the worst team in the NBA right now at home. Hopefully we're able to pull that out with the injuries, but yeah, that'll be a competitive game, I think.
And then at what point does Portland say, okay, we got to start thinking about next year and give up on the playoffs for this year? I mean, is that at the end of this stretch until February 12th?
I think the trade deadline, depending on what's available, maybe. They're not making moves for the rest of the season, though. I think they'll make a move for like the future, and then try and win games. You know, they're not gonna like sit Dame for the rest of the year. I don't think the league would even allow it. That would frustrate Dame. Like they're gonna make a trade at the trade deadline for the future, and it could it could possibly help this year. And if it does, then maybe we string together some wins and make it to the playoffs. Who knows? I don't think it's anything where it's like they got to decide like, okay, we're going to completely give up on this year and tank, or we're going to like push as hard as we can for a playoff spot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So. And
then the other thing I know you guys keep talking about is like, and I understand playoff positioning and matchups or whatever, but I guess I come from the mindset like you're going to have to go beat the best to advance in the playoffs. So avoiding the Lakers at the 8 seed to move up to the 7 seed to go and potentially beat it.
Yeah.
To go beat like a Denver or Utah or whoever, and then lose in the second round and get murdered by the Clippers. I mean, is it worth like? I mean, is it really? What is it more of a success to make the second round than to get eliminated in the first?
Well, if you make a playoff run, get to the second round, I don't know, like making it further in the playoffs is more favorable in free agency. And this year, you know, maybe we could pull off a sign-in trade. You know, it's not likely, but possibly. And then, you know, if we make a playoff run, it might help us land somebody better for our mid-level exception. So it kind of helps us in free agency a little bit, just with our perception across the league in regards to bringing in players. And it, you know, it keeps Dame happier. It keeps like the morale up through the off season. I feel like maybe that's not a good thing. You know, it hasn't translated into anything this year, but you know, and it's also just good for the fans. So like when I'm thinking about making a playoff run, I want to make a playoff run so I can cover it too. Like
no, I'm a Blazer diehard fan, so I want to see us go as far as possible. But I mean, if we're gonna have to play the Lakers at some point, whether it's in the Western Conference Finals or in the first round, and we're going to get swept because their talent is just so much better than ours at this moment. I mean, kind of like last year. I mean, everybody got hyped. Oh, we made the Western Conference Finals just to get, you know, killed by Golden State after the stocks couldn't adjust after the halftime adjustments for Leonard and all that stuff in the first couple games. And
I mean, see, like, that's the thing. I've been careful with the way I've worded, like, talking about seeding. It's always been like, if we want to make a run, then we need the 7 seed. It's never been like, if we want to win a championship, because I don't feel like we're going to get by them, you know. Like, making it to the Western Conference Finals or being competitive in the second round would be making a run, in my opinion. If we end up facing off against the Lakers in the first round, that's going to be very tough to win more than like a game or so. You know, I wish that wasn't the case. I'm not trying to be like too pessimistic with that. I'm just trying to like be like realistic for all the Blazer fans out there saying you're not being positive enough. I'm just trying to be realistic with that. So that's why I've always said, like, in order to make a run, you know, we'd need the 7th seed, because I don't think, unless we make some huge trade deadline upgrade and like guys come back and are better than expected, you know, Nurkic, Collins, whatever, unless that's the case, then I don't see us beating the Lakers anyway. So it's more about like, okay, if we want to make some noise.
Sure. It ended up being like the year where the Clippers got hurt and we beat him out of the first round when we really shouldn't have, because we are playing their scrubs.
Yeah. I will also say this. Our chances of beating like the Lakers are higher if we face them later in the playoffs, because that increases the chance that like one of their star players, you know, LeBron or AD, it increases the chance that they might be out for that series or like injured or something. So obviously you don't want to see injuries. You do not want to see injuries, but your odds of beating one of those teams goes up if you face them later on in the playoffs. I mean, just look at the dude, I keep almost coughing. Just look at the Golden State Warriors last season. The later on in the playoffs you faced them, the better luck you had. You know, you had KD getting hurt, not playing the Western Conference Finals, and you had Klay Thompson get hurt in the finals. KD tried to come back, got hurt in the finals, so they just ended up being more and more depleted, and that worked in the Toronto Raptors' favor. So I think it's definitely important to get the 7 seed.
The only way that could change is if they had an injury somewhat close to now, and they fell out of the first seed, that's still a possibility too.
Oh yeah, if that's the case, then your mindset shifts. Like, okay, it's fine if we're the 8th seed. You know what I mean? It's just like the way it looks like right now. If they were healthy. But Michael Renella says you have to compete. Bowing out creates a bad culture. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you get to the playoffs and you're the 8th seed, you're going in like trying to compete as hard as you can. As a fan, you're going in hoping, okay, let's just see what we can do. Let's try and compete as hard as we can. Like, that was always the mindset I had as a player in high school and college. It was like, I don't care who I'm going up against. People would get nervous to play against D1 players. I'd get excited, like, okay, that's a challenge. I'm going to compete as hard as I can. Obviously the team should have that same mindset if they end up having to go against the Lakers in the first round or go against the Clippers in the first round or something like that. It's kind of hard to like balance, like, okay, let's analyze our situation realistically, but then also, I kind of have the mindset of an athlete in regards to this team too, where it's just like, let's just try and be as competitive as possible no matter what and make a run no matter what. But I do agree with that. Jason Joseph says Porter and Satoransky, Blake and Rose, or Ingram and Favors. Which one of these trades gives us the best chance at winning and being cap flexible?
We don't have any chance of getting Ingram. You could scratch that name off.
Yeah. Ingram would be the best trade by far. We wouldn't need to be cap flexible. Like, if we got Ingram and Favors, that team would have a chance of winning a championship in the next 5 years because of how good Ingram's ended up being. So that's if we could get somebody that's like could catapult us to being a contender, I wouldn't worry about being cap flexible or needing to make a move next year. I just don't think there's anybody like that available. So that's why it's like, okay, we need to be able to make a move next year in case somebody becomes available. Because there's not.
Isn't Ingram
options.
22 or 23?
He's young, man. I think. I'll search
I don't
right
see why somebody would trade a 22 or 25.22-year-old.
Yeah, he is 22. He is 22. Yeah, and they have a young team. They're rebuilding. Like, that dude's averaging 25 a game. There's no way they'd end up trading him. They're going to give him the max. He's going to get maxed out. He's going to be at New Orleans Pelicans for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Lonzo's playing better too. That's what I've noticed. Have you seen him? He's changed his shot, man. His shot looks so much better.
So it's funny you said that. I actually watched a Pelicans game they have a military TV I can watch over here or whatever, and they had the Pelicans game from a couple nights ago or last night or whatever. I was watching it, and I couldn't believe he swished his three from the elbow, and I was like, is that Lonzo? Like, I thought it was a regular shooter.
It just looks like a regular player, yeah.
Like, I was like, that doesn't look like Lonzo shooting it. He also shot one up from the top of the key, three-pointer, and it barely hit the rim and looked terrible. But, I mean, he's definitely changed his form.
I mean, his three-point percentage was 30.5 his rookie year, 33% his second year. Now it's up to 35%, so he's actually shooting a decent percentage from three. He's shooting 6.5 threes per game, making 2.2 threes per game, so he's shooting a lot of them. His two-point percentage is down to 44%. Like, if you're a Pelicans fan, you want to see that go up. But his efficiency, he's become so overlooked now just because of he's not in LA anymore and people got tired of the hype anyway. He's still not an efficient player, but he's slowly figuring out his shot. Still needs to shoot better from the free throw line though. 51% is still inexcusable, but he's only shooting 1.3 free throws a game in 30.5 minutes.
And he's going to start to get a lot more looked at in the next weeks with Zion coming back. All the national TV and the flex games changing to 2 teams out of the playoff race and things like that. So I mean, people are going to see that hey, Lonzo might be legit.
I feel like he just needs a consistent stretch of playing because he'll slowly start to have flashes and then he'll get injured and then he'll slowly start to have flashes and then get injured. I feel like he just needs to not get hurt, not deal with injuries, and just have a consistent stretch where he can play and figure things out over the long run. I feel like that's what he needs right now, and I feel like these injuries have kind of held him back. So anyway, we cool in chat now? We good? Awesome.
AM Productions and People's Mix I don't think are cool, but other than that.
Yeah. People's Mix, I told him to relax. Bro, I told you to relax. Dude, Come on, man. I'm looking back at chat. Did AM block me? LMA. Literally told you to be done with that, bro. I don't know how long ago you said that, but I know it was after your ban. I told you, let's be done with it. Let's be done with it, man. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with the trade deadline. We'll see what happens with this team. We've been going. You guys feeling good about signing off soon, or?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. What about you? What about you, Clay?
It's your show, brother. I'm just here enjoying the ride.
All right. I want to make sure you got your fix in. So we've been.
Clays, you kind of sound like Joey Harrington on the radio.
Oh no.
No, that's a good thing. I think you got a voice. You got a good voice. It's fine to me.
You not like the Ducks?
No. I just don't like Joey Harrington. He was terrible.
Oh, nice.
I don't have like being from Vancouver, and Tori might be able to back this up. It's hard to root for a university. I know he's a Gonzaga fan because of other reasons, but like you're like in the middle of everything because you get the Portland media, so you get the Ducks and the Beavers, but then you're from Washington, you want to represent your state, but the closest school is 2.5 hours away, and you're like, who do I root for? So you end up just rooting for all of them. At least that was me growing up. So like, Washington State, Ryan Leaf, they're doing great this year. I'm rooting for Washington State.
Yeah, I feel like it's
or like
around here it seems like whoever your parents like, that's who you end up liking, or whoever your family likes, Oregon or Washington or whatever. I always felt like there was more Oregon Duck fans than Washington Husky fans around here, though.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think just with the Oregon media, especially from in the mid 90s when they made the Rose Bowl and got blown out by Penn State, that like put Oregon football on the map, at least when I was a kid. I was probably 11, 12 years old.
Yeah. When
Kerry Collins and Kajana Carter just steamrolled the Ducks.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know if I was even alive then. 25 years
94-ish.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even on this planet yet. But somebody said WSU Vancouver, they don't have sports or anything like that. Like that's a satellite campus, so that doesn't mean anything. But yeah, I'm a Husky fan for football. Kind of, but I don't really like college football, so I don't even pay attention. So I'm not even really like a hardcore Husky fan. When they made the playoffs, I was like, into that when they made the college football playoffs. But their basketball team, that's like kind of like my second favorite team, but I'm nowhere near as into them as I am into Gonzaga basketball. Like that's my favorite college like team in general. We're number one. Just beat BYU by 25. Let's go. But that was from my grandfather, though. So, like I said, it's just kind of whoever your family is into, it seems like.
Yeah, no, none of my influences were into college sports. So it was just kind of me picking it up with media and just picking who I liked at that point. I love sports. I got to, root for somebody. So it tends to be like Oregon for football and basketball, especially since, like I was telling you about that, my buddy at Evergreen, he went to Oregon. He started there for 3 years. So I was rooting for them because he was there on like Eric will know what I'm talking about. He was on like the Luke Ridnour, Luke Jackson teams that were
my boy Freddie Jones.
And Freddie Jones. Yeah, so he actually backed up Freddie, and then Freddie went to the Pacers, and he started that year when Luke Jackson went to the Cavs or whatever. And so I watched a lot. I'd say Oregon for basketball is kind of what I lean towards because of that. But again, if Washington's making a good run when they had like Isaiah Thomas or Brandon Roy or, things like that.
Yeah.
So kind of just who's ever good. I never got on the Gonzaga bandwagon though.
Hey, Gonzaga is an Gonzaga is an inspiring program, I think, though. Just what they've been able to do with a small school like that. So I feel like, I don't know, some people hate Gonzaga, and I just don't understand it. Like,
no, I like Gonzaga. They're fun to watch, and in the last, the whole, Adam Morrison years and just being that I like this, who doesn't like underdogs, and they were mid-major underdogs, but now that they're so mainstream, they're no longer, they don't have that like, Gonzaga is going to come into the tournament and upset somebody. because they're favored every
Yeah,
game.
they're like,
know?
they're a lot of 1 seeds lately. Yeah, it's
So
definitely
people
changed.
like to hear that story about, like, oh, this no-name college just upset Duke, or
Hey, this year that's
like
how it could.
Loyola Chicago or whatever.
Yeah, this
a
year
couple years
college
ago.
basketball is crazy. It's gonna be like that. I'll actually have some March Madness content for this channel just because I have nowhere else to post it. So like the 3 days after the bracket's announced, I'll like fill out a bracket and have it on here and that type of stuff. It's not Blazer content, but it'll just be for like 3-4 days.
Yeah, I'm excited for the tournament. There's an exercise in Las Vegas going on that I'm a part of for 3 weeks, and it's right over the first weekend of March Madness.
Ooh.
It's gonna be a great time.
That'd be so fun. I want to do that once in my life. Just be there for the tourney and just sit there with all the TVs watching all the games.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. I did it a couple years ago just with a buddy of mine, and we had like private party with like ballrooms and like free food and drinks.
Oh.
And it opened at like 8 a.m. and it closed at 10. You just come in and out whenever you want. And you're just sitting there drinking and eating for free all day. And then they have their own personal bookies that you just walk up at the end of your table. Oh, I want to place a bet on these guys, Or it was so much fun.
Hey, Tori, real quick, I just got the chat to work on that last podcast, so I'll be able to check chat's thing.
That's good. Finally, yeah, that was having a lot of problems. So yeah, we'll get that for me on Monday, and we'll be updated with that. Somebody was dropping. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, for me, I follow college basketball mostly just to follow like players for the draft.
Yeah.
When I was younger, but I wasn't really into college teams other than like filling out a tourney bracket every March. Mm-hmm. But when I went to Oregon State, that's when it became like I got really into it because like obviously you go to games and you root for teams and you get drunk and go to games.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We had people dropping Clark College. Screw Clark College. I have a really bad recruiting story with them. Their coach brought me in. Like he had open gyms, but they weren't really open. He'd like just have like the players that have played for him and would bring in like 2 to 3 recruits each time. He brought me in, and over 2 hours, he only let me play 3 times because he literally would like have his team like run it back and keep me on the sideline. Wouldn't even like try and see me play or anything. It was ridiculous. And then like the next college I went to an open gym, the coach told me, yeah, since you're a recruit, I want to see you play as much as possible. So even if you lose, I don't care. You're playing every game until you're tired, until you don't want to play. So, yeah, screw Clark College. I didn't go play for Clark College. I would have loved to play against them and gotten some minutes in college. I didn't really get many minutes. We had a really good team. But somebody said Lower Columbia College, too. The team I played for, we were like 4th in our region. There was like 4 regions, 16 teams total, 4 regions, seeded 1 through 4. We were a 4 seed. We beat Lower Columbia College. They were a 1 seed. We actually beat them handily. So I have a good memory of Lower Columbia College because we beat them in the playoffs.
I have a story kind of like yours. I went to one of those at a local community college.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had no idea. I was just going to like meet the coach or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so you're ready to play, right? And I didn't have any gear. So he like let me borrow shoes and like all this stuff. I had no idea. But anyways, I play and I start playing and he just leaves the gym. And I was like, what the heck?
That's so dumb,
and,
man.
And then like I never saw him again. And then apparently one of the players was just like, oh, we just let him know how you do. Like, whatever. Just like, okay, that's stupid. Because, like, what player is going to really want, like, if I play the same position of them, they're not going to want me to go there,
Yep.
So I saw Jason Joseph keeps asking about the draft. I was going to mention this is not a good draft for forwards.
It's not.
Yeah.
And it's a guard draft minus Wiseman. Mm-hmm. But if you are trying to potentially get one of the forwards other than Obi Toppin, I mean you got the 2 Washington guys. They're both projected lottery to early, just after the lottery in the teens. And then outside of that, there's not very many good ones.
Yeah, Jaden McDaniels seems like he just need a ton of time put into him. Like he has scoring talent, scoring ability, natural scoring ability, but the dude's just way too skinny. Like, I feel like he'd be too much of a project. Like, I want somebody that can come in and play right away and be a potential all-star. There's not really anybody in this draft though, like that, except maybe Obi Toppin. Just talking in terms of forwards, that's why I'm on the Obi Toppin train. But Isaiah Stewart just seems like a guy who'd come in and like be solid right away, be a good backup center, but wouldn't be much better. He just seems like an energy, hustle, garbage guy. It doesn't seem like he has like much room for growth because he doesn't seem like he's ever going to be like a skill guy or knocking down threes. But you never know. I mean, if he could do that, then he could actually possibly be a really, really solid player. But he just seems like he's going to be like an Ed Davis type big and not much more. But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on the draft. I'm excited to start covering the draft. We're probably going to wait until after the trade deadline, but right after the trade deadline's done, then we'll transition into draft talk. So we'll kind of carry over.
Well, Avdija could probably play a small forward too.
Yeah, Avdija could be interesting. That's the other guy that's kind of intriguing. He might fall. What were you saying?
Freaking ads. Got ads playing.
You got ads playing on your stream?
No, it's not on the stream. It's on this draft site I was on.
But we'll like cover it in podcasts and stuff, like especially after the trade deadline. During the All-Star break, we won't have a ton to cover because the All-Star break is after the trade deadline. So one of those podcasts we could maybe just do a deep dive on some prospects and just do it like prospects only. We won't even have picks against the spread because it will be the All-Star break. So that's the time when we could really start ramping up the draft coverage and maybe put together a mock draft or something like that. We'll figure that out though. For now, it's trade talk, as you guys know. As you know, you guys love the trade talk. So, anything left you guys want to talk about or ask, or any comments or anything? Either of you guys.
Clays, do you have any more?
No, I just wanted to thank you guys for the invitation to. Enjoy. I definitely enjoyed the last few hours talking basketball. It's good where I don't get to talk basketball very often because I live in a country where they don't care.
Yeah.
So it's especially my hometown team and things like that. So definitely appreciate the invite, and if you ever need a substitute for the real Eric, you got B Team Eric
for
over
sure,
in Europe
man.
whenever you want.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's been my pleasure. It's nice to finally bring on a Patreon donor, and you killed it. You killed it this stream. You seem like a natural. So yeah, we'll definitely in the future, we'll get you back on here. I also thank you for your support on Patreon. I appreciate that. It's helpful. I'm gonna start pouring that money back into the channel. I need to upgrade a couple things, so I got that on the docket in the next couple months. But yeah,
Jacoby's asking where you're from, Eric.
So I'm from just outside Portland, like Tori, but I'm in the military, flying over here with NATO over in Germany, right on the German-Netherlands-Belgium border, which is pretty awesome to be able to be within 2-hour drive of 5 countries. So it's quite an experience.
Trevin said, how many Erics are there? That one from True Blazer Fan. Yeah, the guy who runs True Blazer Fan is Eric also. Clays, did you start with following me on True Blazer Fan, or was it on Blazers Uprise?
So I wasn't in, as you can tell, with pretty much no Twitter, and I think I downloaded Twitter to follow, and I just quit doing it. And I'm not a big social media guy, and it was, I don't know, September or whatever. And I was like, what's going on with the Blazers? And I just went to like YouTube, and I just started watching videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'd never followed anything, never had been interested in anything like that. And, you type in Blazers or whatever, and something of your guys popped up. And I think it was one of your first streams. Because I know you talked about the stream where you went to Eric's house, and I think I watched that one.
Gotcha.
So I just randomly punched it into YouTube. You popped up. I watched a couple. I was like, cool. People are talking about the Blazers, and
yeah.
And so I just started listening, and enjoyed the commentary. You know, some of the off commentary was, you know, got me through some nights. You know, like
Yeah.
I mean, for example, we deploy. I don't know if you want to call it that, but I was in Turkey the whole month of December, and like watching your guys' podcasts and all that stuff, streams after the games or whatever. It was hilarious to me. You know,
Oh,
I was like, cool. You know, we got Eric the Fish, and we got, you know.
Dude, we got so many inside jokes now. It's it's a lot of fun. It was funny because like when we first started streaming, we try and like be just like so serious, you know. I mean, we wouldn't have any banter, just like straight coverage, and now it's definitely a lot looser, and I enjoy it, and I'm glad you do too.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, you know, watching a post-game show for an hour of Tory high school videos of, you know, playing basketball, it was a little rough I mean, it was a low time, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is when the team's struggling, sometimes, you know, just search for something fresh on the stream, you know, definitely do kind of scrape the barrel sometimes.
And he's like, oh, wait, I played college basketball.
Yeah. I love chat's participation with the inside jokes, the burners. It's awesome. It's an awesome community here, and I want to thank you for being a part of it. And I want to give a thank you to everybody who tunes in with us pretty much every post game show, who are watching us right now. You guys help make this a really fun and great community. But the reason what were you saying?
Clays knows that we didn't grow up in the YouTube era, so this is all like new to us.
It's super new to me. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I remember awesome. I was trying during the rap video. I was actually I was gonna donate the rest. You needed like $60 or $70 more, and I was gonna do it. I was just like, you know, screw it. I'm gonna because like I said, I'm pretty sure you said you were gonna do it there on the spot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to make him do it here on the spot. And then I'm like, I'm so far removed that I haven't used my PayPal account in like 15 years. And it's like 5 phone numbers ago.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
So like you can't get a new password. You can't. I'm just like, screw it, dude.
The stream's down by the time you figure it out.
And I still haven't figured it out completely. I had to like, it's still kind of jacked up. So that's why I was like, come on, how about I do a one-time Patreon donation of $80? I know I can do that, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when I started just doing the Patreon, subscriber.
Gotcha. Honestly, thinking back to it, I think for that stream I did say I freestyle, and then I think the stream after that I said, you know, I'll actually like recording, like try and put out something that sounds legit and it'll probably sound bad. I think I like switched it up the next stream, so I didn't get enough money. I think that's probably what happened there.
I might have missed a couple streams here and there, just being busy or whatever.
I think that.
Oh, how dare you!
Oh man, I catch up on so many of them though. It's
do you?
Hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I always wondered how many people watch after it's like been live.
So I don't watch it live most of the time, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll watch I'll come home from work, watch the game, and then I'll see, okay, I can usually tell if it was a win or a loss.
Yeah.
By like just how long it is.
Oh, that's funny. It's longer after a win, huh? Yeah.
It tends to be longer after a win, and then also if your face pops up in the first like 2 seconds of playing, you can just see that you're getting ready to rant about Rodney Hood being on the court, or like I remember watching that one, and I was like, oh man, Rodney Hood out there, Eric Torrey's going to go crazy about this, and sure enough, then I flip it on, and there it was.
He was mad.
Oh my goodness, I was so mad, man. I still am hurt about that, man. He still shouldn't be. We should have Rodney Hood right now. Imagine how much better off we'd be with him. Oh God, it hurts. Okay, I'm not even gonna go down that road because it hurts. But yeah, no, I brought up like if you found me like with Blazers Uprise, because I used to make. I don't know. You probably heard because I've explained this before, but I used to make content for a channel called True Blazer Fan.
Yeah, I heard you say some things. Obviously I didn't know of these other ones, or I haven't ever searched it out before.
Yeah, it was like a guy making highlights, and I hit him up summer of 2018, and I was like, "You want some analysis on your channel to go with your highlights?" So that's where I started. I did that for a year, and then I switched over to my own channel.
And for years, I used to do. I remember Eric talking about it with the Oregon Live stuff.
And,
you
used to be on O Live?
I wasn't ever like commenting or anything like that, but I was stationed in England for a couple years around 2011, 2012 timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't find anything about the Blazers at the time. There wasn't a lot of like podcasts. There wasn't any information, so that I knew I could go to Oregon Live and just read, oh, here's the rumors this week. I get my fix.
Yeah,
that's where I started out too, back in like 99, 2000.
Yeah.
Michael says when the Blazers win, Torrey has a pop in his shoulders and leans forward and back. That's funny. See, I don't notice these things. But yeah, I think some people might have gotten confused because the guy who runs True Blazer Fan is also named Eric. So we just got a bunch of Erics. Erics.
Torrey only talks to people named Eric.
Yep, apparently. That's basically how it is. If your name's Eric, you can come on. If not, nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that'll do it. Gonna wrap this up. This was a good, long, entertaining, and fun stream. And we'll get you back on the channel soon, man. Definitely enjoyed this.
Be happy to be part of it anytime, man.
For sure. So this is a wrap from me, from Clays, from Eric Brandt. We'll catch you guys later. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.